Hey, we're live. I'm going to talk really slowly because I've got no comics to show whatsoever. So unless Mark's got something to show, I'll talk slowly until Kyle comes back. I showed my comic books yesterday, the three that I got this week.
I have got some comics to show.
That's a relief.
I've also got something that's going to make Kyle call me a bastard again.
Good. He likes calling you a
bastard. What?
That's his favorite thing.
Did you get older than an 1861, Lucy? Did you get older than 1861? This one.
So I went on. I was looking through eBay yesterday, and I typed in Punch bound volumes, and this one came up, and it said 91 bound Punch 1842 to 1906. So I thought, and it was 50 quid, but you had to go and collect them. So I thought, this can't be right. So I clicked on it, and indeed there are 91 bound volumes of Punch.
Oh, actual full volumes, like big thick ones.
Yeah, the full volume, the bound volumes.
I don't give a shit what shipping is. You're coming off a couple of those, you bastard. Oh my God.
So no, well, I'm going around and driving down. They're about 2-hour drive away. So
oh my God,
you wouldn't ship them. I mean, there's that.
Oh, I don't mean 92 of them. I'm talking about like 1 or 2 of them. You're shipping.
Yeah. So
you get that,
and I put a bid in at 40 quid.
You get a second 1842, and you
can we get a story, Cal? Let him finish the story, man. He might not have won them.
Oh shit, we're live.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry. I moved my phone. I went off. I'm sorry. Finish your story.
We couldn't wait for you, man. We had to start without you.
I was,
I put a bit of 40 quid in. The thing ended because it said minimum bid or best offer. Nobody else bid. So then the guy came back to me and said, I'll sell them to you for 45 quid. I said, fine. Okay. So we did a deal. They're in his uncle's garage somewhere in South London. So I'm driving down tomorrow, pick them all up.
What part of South London is it?
Surbiton.
Oh, okay. Right. Nowhere near Lisa.
So I've got to go down. I'm going to go over the Dartford Bridge and round
the south of the river. Oh dear.
I know, south of the river.
Well, I feel like such an ass. I moved my stand and touched the wrong thing on my phone and shut myself off again while trying to accommodate this dog. And I didn't even look in the corner to see we were live. I thought he was telling me some behind the scenes stuff. You bastard. Let me get that out there live. Oh my God. I hope they don't have water damage. If they're close to water, things like that, I hope they don't
show any water damage. Good. 40 quid. I mean, just
shut up, you bastard. Shut up. No, I mean, again, you will become the repository.
Most of those that sell on eBay for about 20 to 40 pounds. So
what? Yeah. Well, one of them.
One of them. Yeah.
50 quid normally. So,
yes, I would pay 50 quid per, and probably more when you got into the 1840s.
Yeah.
So you will become a repository.
The person who wants them, isn't it? It's a matter of finding the person who wants them.
Yeah, exactly. It is. And to be honest, they sell better in the state. They sell for more money in the States because, well, they haven't got as much history.
They're going to sell more when I get the word out. I'm even talking about it later on the shows. On the 24-hour,
well, if anybody wants a bit of history, there's a lot of American history going on between 1840 and 1900. Americans, Civil War, various states being formed. If you want the year Texas joins as a state, I've probably got the Punch volume to go with it.
Interesting.
Well, you know me, I want every damn one of them. I'm jealous. I want every damn one. I want a library shelf or 6 full of those. I would love to have an entire 6-tiered full of those. Yes.
Point of order. Does your wife know you're bringing home 90 2 volumes of.
I did break it to her over dinner, but she actually quite likes the history.
Yeah.
She's actually cooler with 91 Punch books than she is with about 20 comics arriving.
Yeah.
Because we actually both quite like history. So we were sitting down with the 1848 one today and talking about the French Revolution. She said the French Revolution wasn't in 1848; it was in 1780. And I said, "Well, check it up." So the first French Revolution was in 1780, but the second French Revolution was in 1848.
Oh, I didn't know there was 2 even.
Yeah, there was 3. There were 3 actually.
Oh,
so
there's 3 of them. So yeah. I mean, that's what studying world history. I mean, every country is going to have their different things, and the way they.
So the first one, they went from sort of feudal monarchy to constitutional monarchy, a bit like after the English Civil War. We went from a sort of feudal monarchy.
We had Parliament for a while, didn't we? But the king was still
right. Yeah, so it's correct. And then in the second one, they sort of went to a republic, but it didn't really take because they then put one of Napoleon's ancestors back as prince. So they had to have a third one to get the republic in the end. Yeah.
You're such a damn completionist. Now you're going to have a bound volume of every one of them. If you tick off all those.
So the 91 I'm getting covers the period 18. So they didn't have another copy of 1841, but it did have another copy of 1842, Carl. So yes, I will have 2 copies of 1842.
No, you won't. You're going to box one up and send it to me, you bastard. Oh my God. You're going to keep the nice fancy one in the original wrap.
Through to 1906. So there's about 40 not there. The number of years, about 60, 70 years. So it should be about 120, 130 volumes, and there's 90. So, there's a few missing.
You'll be able to fill that out in your lifetime and have a repository of that. You will be the guy. You have well surpassed me in Victorian age knowledge with that stuff once you get there.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Less than 50p for one of those things. It's just madness.
And I told you how hard those would be to find. You'd have to fluke onto them and get lucky, and God forbid you find a Lucy. Now, you'll find older Lucys that have been torn out of bound volumes.
Yeah.
But if you find one before 1861 that hasn't been torn out of a bound, you got a piece of history on your hands there. So, and again, I'd imagine in the not too distant future, you'll be talking me out of that 1861 proof that I've got.
I thought you were flogging it, mate. I thought you were giving it away in the charity thing.
Not the 1861 proof. No, that's the rare one. I'm giving away an 1884 loose one.
Okay.
Just to like I gave away 1861 regularly before, but
even my net or your net is a bit rubbish tonight. Oh.
Yeah, you're breaking up, Kyle.
Huh?
Yeah. Your net's been a bit
crappy. I'm gonna hop out. I'm gonna hop out and hop back on because I could see the glitch. I'm gonna hop out and hop back on.
Well, while you're out, chase up Bill, find out if he's coming. Okay, don't do that.
I like that thing above your head, Gray. Is that a sort of montage of covers?
Yeah, one of Lisa's neighbours gave it to us. It's all Marvel covers. I don't have them all. It'd be nice to have them all, but yeah, some of them are bit too expensive for my pocket, unfortunately. So what else you got today? You got anything else today?
Yeah, I've got some stuff that came in the post today.
Let's have a look because I've got bugger all. I've got nothing. One comic got ordered from a guy, and like I think it was a £2 comic, and he wants to pass £2.50 for one comic. And I'm like, nah, forget it, mate. I ain't paying £4.50 for one old Iron Man. If you got any more that I need to make the postage worth the while?
Yeah, I know that exactly. So there's a guy I'm buying off on eBay at the moment that I quite like, and he's really good on postage. He normally charges £2.50, but for each additional item you add, he only charges 50p for additional items. Yeah. So if you buy 5 or 6 items, it only costs you about £4 or something postage. So,
yeah, that can be a bit awkward though, because what's the Silver Acre? They do that as well. And I just think that it's like something like £3.7, and it's like 50p for one. It's like that don't work out, because by the time you've got 20 comics, that's another bloody, it's a ridiculous amount of postage.
Yeah.
Is there any maximum cap on it? I said, no, that's bullshit. That's rubbish.
So am I back to normal here?
Yes.
Well, it shut off my Wi-Fi. My phone janked out and shut off my Wi-Fi.
Okay, so I've got some
I'm
stuff
saying,
to show you.
Carl,
So I'll just pick this up. This is Avengers.
Hellcat.
First
Is that
Hellcat.
144?
144, yeah.
Claim.
And it's really nice because it's got the George Perez label on it from CGC.
Did he sign it?
No, unfortunately not. I
Not
do have a Taskmaster first Taskmaster signed by George Perez, but that's not graded. So they thought this was really nice. I got this in a claim sale.
I always liked the Hellcat look and that, but he's never really got. He's actually got much usage though. This she's never like.
Well, it's Patsy Walker, isn't it? She's a glamour model.
She stepped right into the Defenders. She didn't fit in the Avengers, but she stepped right into the Avengers.
She's still married to David Helmstrom, isn't she?
She's the daughter of the devil. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't really. Poor Patsy Walker.
She's the daughter-in-law of the devil, maybe. She's the daughter-in-law.
Well, what came about was. Yeah, the original story arc that JM did was he taunted her about being the daughter of the devil, and then he ended up taunting her with it, and then she ended up marrying Damon. So
okay, all right. So I've not read that.
I've not read that.
There were some real twists in that and stuff like that, but they had her as the daughter of the devil, and then it turns out she was the daughter-in-law.
I also picked up. I'm a big Gru fan. I've got a really good Gru collection. And I've got this raw, but this guy was selling this for 50 quid, and I thought,
is that first appearance or
it's the Pacific Comics? It's not the first appearance. First appearance is in Destroy a Duck,
right? Yeah.
This is the Pacific Comics
with a remark.
No, it hasn't got a remark. That's just a small dog humping Gru's leg.
Oh yeah, from the back it looked like a remark there.
Yeah,
photo referto, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this is his first titled series.
Yeah, that Pacific. Yeah, that Pacific came before Marvel.
Yeah, So that's quite nice.
And now you've got a Sergio Aragonés autograph.
And I have got a Sergio Aragonés signature, thanks to Kyle on. I have got that. Right, some other stuff. A few cover pickups here. This is a Betty Page #1 Virgin cover.
Good, thanks for asking if that first one was magazine size or regular size, that Pacific.
That is regular size.
Yeah, it's just regular. Yeah.
I think it was something about the Gru one.
Yeah, the Gru's regular too.
The Gru's regular at Pacific Comics, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a nice one. This is Greg Horn variant on Hawkeye.
Who did the art on that Betty Page?
Yoon, a guy called Yoon, Y-O-O-N.
I got my Aquaman artwork yesterday. Look at that pile of crap you got there. That's rubbish, that one.
That's not real good, Greg Horn. I'll say that much.
Is that after you had the accident with the snowplow? That face there. What's going on?
I agree with you. It's a bit odd.
He's still in hospital too. So
I know he is. He?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, of course he did have an accident with a snowplow.
Yeah. Well, the actor did. He plays you.
This was a cheap, but I collect Miracle Man.
Scott Young. Yeah.
Scott Young one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Roscoe's favorite there. That's Roscoe's favorite book.
Favorite.
That's actually quite serious for a Scott Young picture. Yeah, it's really dark and moody. Scott Young.
Yeah. Well, Miracle Man, of course, is dark and moody. So,
Scott Young only makes them like twee and like comical.
Yeah.
So that's like dark for a Scott Young cover, I think.
Yeah. Here's a Rocket Raccoon #1 variant cover.
Okay. Yeah, Scott Young makes everything look like a Funko Pop, doesn't he? Like practically.
Yeah, it does a bit.
Funko Pop, poppyfied.
Yeah.
I don't mind his art. It's not really sort of thing I'm into, but
I buy some of these variant covers sell well. So if I can get them at a low enough price, I can resell them and make some money.
Yeah.
This Batman 50. There's a variant on Batman 50.
How many of them Batman 50s were there?
There were loads and loads and loads of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably more than 100.
There were loads of variants on Batman 50. So,
well, I mean, they did a lot of store variants and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
that's right. This one is one of those store variants.
That's another one of those things I didn't even know about until I started doing YouTube and watching other people's videos. I had no idea that there was that people did variants.
Oh, look who has to be on camera because you can't figure out where the human voices are coming from.
This is a Superman, Wonder Woman, New York Comic Con special variant edition.
Okay.
I sold a comic on eBay today that I finally sold that Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton colouring in book that I've
well done.
finally flogged it, 30 quid.
How much did you flog it for?
30 quid.
Well, there you go. Good job.
Yeah,
I wouldn't use a Donald Trump comic book for toilet paper.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of weird because I never eBay. I've never sold it over. They do like a special postage thing. The guys paid 20 quid for postage, and I'm like, I only put postage on for 2 quid. And I couldn't understand what was going on. I was like, what? And it gives me an address in the UK, so I've got to send it to the UK. And I'm assuming they will. I don't understand why I've been given the extra money though, because I'm only posting it to the UK. Are they then going to take it out of my money? I guess they are. When it comes to paying me out, they'll pay me whatever the fraction is, I suppose.
This is a nice one. This is who do you think that is?
It looks like
that's the chick from Cobra.
No,
that's the G.I. Joe thing, isn't it?
Oh, no,
this is Robin #1.
Robin #1, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's not the Baroness. That looks like the Baroness.
Yes, correct, Gray. Talia al Ghul.
Nice. They did a little rip off of Baroness on that one though.
No. She's got Talia al Ghul's had black hair since she first came around. It's just having to wear a black costume. I don't think that's necessarily a rip on another character.
Nice variant here.
Hey, after this many of these, where's that dirty old man cut in? Look at you with girls wearing skimpy clothes sticking their boobs and butts out, you dirty old man.
Not for me. It's not for me. These are for resale.
Did anyone watch Triple G's comic video the other day? He had some Harley Quinn, and he had a bit of a tongue twist, a bit of a spoonerism, and he called her Hairy Quinn.
No, I sent him a message saying, under no circumstances did I ever want to see his Hairy Quinn.
Yeah. I don't think Pete made that. I don't think that was a Freudian slip. I think Pete really.
Yeah, maybe.
Any point.
He's happy to see a Hairy Quinn every now and again.
Yeah, he's an old soldier, so you know.
Yeah, he said if you come to Thought Bubble this year, everybody's going to see my Hairy Quinn. So.
Great.
This is Stray Dogs Dog Days. It's a Frankenweenie variant.
Okay, I've not got any. I've never looked.
Not done Stray Dogs.
Tim Burton homage.
Yes.
Like that.
Dog, if you're going to be out here, catch that damn mouse. I got a mouse in my garage.
I'll get the dog to get it. Yeah.
Dogs ain't going to catch a mouse. Not that blinking soppy thing. It'll probably blinking give it a kiss. That one.
This is just a really nice.
You want mice and rats caught. You need a Jack Russell there, buddy. Catching rats.
Now that's a pretty cover.
That is Art Germ. It's an Art Germ cover, really nice, just come out, and it's not an expensive. This is the one. I think this is the main cover, so it's cover price, really nice. I don't know if you've been collecting. Well, I know Gray hasn't, but I mean, I collect some. One of the series I have been collecting is DC versus Vampires with some great covers.
Oh yeah, God Takes Dogs in the Creep Show, in Stray Dogs issue, so his dog's been in the comic book by the sounds of it. My dog Jerry Lewis made it to the Creep Show Stray Dogs issue. I don't know if you got that one. Apparently his dog's in it.
My dog Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, made it in the Creep
Show.
Show.
Really? Okay. Oh, well done.
Is that a thing the artists have been doing? Like featuring them?
Yeah, but I think they did do something like that. Yes.
Interesting.
Another DC vampire.
I wonder if he's got a cat named Dean Martin. That'd be pretty.
You may be.
And they're doing a Wildstorm 30th anniversary of Wildstorm here.
Blimey. Oh yeah. Sugar. Don't tell me. I know her name. It's bloody. It's not Spartan. The Spartan is the bloke.
She seems to have got more arms than normal.
Has she got more arms? She normally has 2 arms, doesn't she? Normally.
Or is it, well, what's all those things over her shoulder? Oh, maybe it's just
that's just her back.
What's her bloody name? Oh, Zealot. Zealot, her name is, I believe.
Xena.
Zealot.
Zealot.
Yeah, Zealot. Yeah.
Zealot. Yeah.
Yeah, Zealot. Zealot. Pronounce it how you wish.
Something is killing the children variant cover. Apparently, this was limited to 300.
Okie doke. I'm surprised they found 300 people who wanted it.
I'm going to come to some stuff you'll be interested in a minute, Gray. There's a Spider-Man 1 variant, something or other.
Would you get these all from one lot, or did you all?
What I try and do, I sell these. I will sell these on because these variant covers sell. So if you can get them for a £5, you can generally try and sell them for 10. And if you buy them for 10, you can sell them for 15.
It'll be here and there.
That's Amazing Spider-Man 800 variant. That's a Delotto variant. That's an expensive variant, actually.
Yeah, you can tell Delotto, like Kirby. You can hold that 50 feet away and be able to tell that's a Delotto.
Okay,
it's dark as crap, Delotto, isn't it?
So here's some stuff that's more appealing. These are going into my collection. These are not for resale. So Justice League.
I think I've got
49.
Yeah, I've got that one, I think.
The Threat of the True or False Sorcerer. And we've got the checkerboard logo, so we're in the 60s.
Felix Faust, of course.
Felix Faust.
That's the bad guy.
Is that the sorcerer?
Yeah.
This one's a bit of a key.
Faustian bargain, because no stories are new stories.
Justice League America 56. This is the first appearance of Golden Age Wonder Woman in the Silver Age, and we've got the Justice League versus the Justice Society.
Is that the one when they first team up, the first crossover from Earth 2?
No. I showed the first crossover the other week. This is the first time they fight.
Has it got a similar cover on it?
Yeah, they've got on the one where they first meet. They're all round a table, so one group is down here and one group is up here.
Right.
This is their first fight, and it's the first Golden Age Wonder Woman.
Right.
This is some of these DC keys are now going up in value for first time in ages.
Okay.
And I really like this one. It's a lot cheaper than the pre-56. But it's quite nice. I like the trade dress here. It's the sort of celebration of
Brotherhood. Is it Brotherhood Week or something?
Yeah. So it's sort of got people holding hands. From, there's an Indian.
But that's in real good nick right there.
Really good. This is in very fine plus, I think.
I see. I was looking at all of that. I was thinking, I've got that one in much worse condition. I've got that one in much worse condition.
This is.
You know what would go good with that, Mark?
What's that?
The first handbook from the United Nations when it was the UNO.
Yeah.
I have the first UNO book from 1946.
I think pressed up, this will be very fine plus. I really like that, and I got it for £12, which I thought was amazing.
Not bad at all.
Right, I'm going to show you another one. I know it's not your type of thing.
I was tempted to buy a few Astonishing Tales. I think it is the ones with Deathlock. Deathlock.
Yeah. Deathlock was Astonishing Tales 25.
Yeah. His Facebook pages were selling I think about 6 or 7 of them. £2. I thought that's a very good price. £2. They're like nice old.
How much each?
Just £2 each.
That's a bloody good deal. Go and grab them.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like I'm not really collecting it. And it's just if I'm like Skinner's arseholes, it's like they're very tempting, but it's like I must resist kind of thing. You know what I mean? And then the first one of that one is a massive book, and I'll end up wanting to get all of them. And I know to get the first Deathlock is like 200.
Well, he's only in like 7 or 8 issues in that run.
I looked at it on Thingified. There's about nearly 20 issues. I'm sure I counted nearly 20 issues of him in that run. It's broken up by a sort of one-off issue of a big book, really big book, and then it goes back to him again. I can't remember now. I'll have to look. Let me have a look. I've got the page.
Yeah, I didn't think Astonishing Tales ran that long.
Yeah, it's kind of Astonishing Tales, but it starts off with Kazar. Kazar goes up to 20. Then you got It.
Well, actually, it starts as Kazar and Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom with Wally Wood.
Till about I think to about issue 7 or 8, and then it's just Kazar.
Yeah, and then like issue 12 has Man Thing's Origin by Neil Adams in his second appearance. I know I've got that. There's some Blade stuff in there. It's kind of a mishmash going through, and then 25 is Deathlock over.
But 25 is the first one with Deathlocky, and that's going like 315, 700, depending on obviously what grade you want. Even 1.5 is $70 for the first one. But there was a few, and it goes up from 26, 27, 28. Then number 29 is randomly Guardians of the Galaxy, their first.
That's a reprint of That's a reprint of Marvel Superheroes 18. I've got that.
Then it goes back to Deathlock again, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Yeah, that's where it finishes, 36. So there's not 20, but it's more than 7 that you were saying.
No, I meant 7 with Deathlock. I didn't mean all the issues. Only like 7 with Deathlock in it.
8, 9. Oh, it's only 11. Oh, it's only 11 or 12, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah, there just aren't too many with Deathlock in it, but that series is pretty easy to get.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about their whole title. I was talking about the ones with Deathlock. I thought it was more than that. I thought I counted 20, but I was.
No.
There's only that. Yeah, that one they cut off pretty quick. So
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, it's only 11. So maybe. No, I'm not going to do it anyway. Screw it. He's probably sold them by now. But I did think about saying that they've not sold yet. Any chance of a deal on them all? But I'm going to be sensible. Probably
£2 per.
I mean, £2, Gray. If he's selling Astonished Tales 26 for £2, you can flog that on quite a lot higher.
Yeah, I don't know if it's numbers, but maybe I'll ask him actually. I'll drop him a line.
Yeah, it'd be worth the ask. I've gone through 2 or 3 copies of 25. I never much cared for it. I don't have it anymore. I'm not losing sleep, and I got to tell Rich Buckler he was cool. That was a cool character that he came up with, and he told me something along the lines of like they all do. This is basically a character where the seeds of him came from some high school idea I had, and then the $6 million man craze fed into it. So I did more of that.
Yeah,
because that's such a common story. When I was this age, these were the comics that influenced me. But when I was like 13, the seeds were planted for me to create that character. So
yeah, well, it was like JM with Moonshadow.
Yeah,
that had been in his head for.
And they've all got that. John Byrne's got those stories. Like when I started liking art as a teenager and teenager, I got ideas for this, and I got ideas for it. It's all the same story.
I used to do the Vigilantes role-playing game. I've got about 500 characters that I made up for it. So I've got all these books of super villains that I made up, and like folders full of superhero teams that I created. But yeah.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hey, Ken.
Yeah.
So you guys, I know you guys don't buy new comics, but I'm showing this because it's one of the best comics over the last year, and it's just come to an end. So, Nice House on the Lake by James Tynion. He is the best comics writer around.
How many issues did you go to? I read about the first 4 or 9, and I wasn't super enthralled with it.
I think you read the rest. It's just finished. So we've just had issue 12, which is the last one of the arc. You do get some resolution in this. I've really enjoyed it. I've had it right the way through. It's taken over a year to get here, more than a year. I think it's taken 18 months because he took a break for about 3 years.
Sometimes I wonder if they actually got the ending I know what the ending is going to be when they start writing these things.
I don't know. I'll ask him. I've met him a couple of times. I'll ask him next time.
Yeah.
But the great thing at the end of this is there's clearly going to be a series 2, which for me is great because I really love this. It's just my type of stuff. And there's one of those things that just on the last page, which says there's going to be a series 2. So so it's been 18 months. And it's been, buying issue by issue. So, we're about 4 months between 2 issues. You have to go back and reread the previous ones to work out what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Really, if you guys get a chance to get a trade paperback on this, or you can read it online, I really recommend it.
Have you read the one that was sent to us yet, Kyle? Raffi? Is it Raffi? Uncle Raffi? Uncle Reffy?
I couldn't get that thing open. Uncle Raffi. No, that's his thing, so people don't look him up. It's Rafael Neves. So, but no, I can't get it open. Not on my thing with my things that can open. I want to open that so bad, and I haven't had a chance to tell him yet that I haven't been able to get that open. But I'll touch base with him. So.
I've got it, but I haven't checked it yet. I've not had a chance because somebody else from the computer because I wasn't able to.
I'll get hard copies and stuff from him, but I hate he offers me stuff and I hate just taking stuff, but he won't let me do things. He'll end up finding a picture of my house and drawing my house and sending it to me, and it's like, well, what can I do for that? And he knows my position I'm in, so he's like, I won't take nothing from you, buddy. So. Good guy, salt of the earth guy. So obvious why I loved having him on. So hard not to be a fan of the human. Like I said, I prefer being fans of the people before I'm fans of their work. So he's good people.
The other one, new one, a couple of other new ones. They did one of these last year called Timeless, which I really, really enjoyed. I'm not a big Marvel fan usually, but they had an issue. They had an issue of this last year, which was a standalone issue with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Yes, God Tank is awesome. I agree. And they've done it again this year. They've got another standalone #1, which is highly confusing. There are now two Timeless #1s, both with variant covers. This one is pretty good as well. They're all about Kang the Conqueror, who's obviously going to be the next big bad in the MCU.
Yeah.
And this one not quite as good as the one last year, and it doesn't completely end in this volume. It's going to float through to the Avengers, but pretty good.
What the hell am I doing on a show with you two non-Marvel guys? What the hell's wrong with me? So, what do you think of that new Ant-Man Quantumania trailer that shows off MODOK and stuff?
I haven't seen it.
I was going to watch it and do like a reaction to it. Actually,
I'm not spoiling anything because everybody knows MODOK's in that movie, but they actually show him. So get ready for that.
What character would you guys have chosen? Like, if Marvel come to you and said, "Who do you want to be the next big bad in the next load of run of movies?" Would Kang be the one you would have gone for?
Nope.
Would he be your go-to major villain?
If we'd had Scott on here today, Scott would have said yes because Kang is his absolute favorite. Before Scott's got the C-19, so he'll probably be on next week or the week after when he goes out. But he'll give a justification on
the problem is, Gray, where they were. Obviously Doom is the one I want to see.
Yeah, I was thinking Dr. Doom would have been cool because he's faced everybody, hasn't he? So
yeah, but you can't really just put Doom in there without sort of. Doing something first. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to have.
Well, I'm pretty sure this phase is going to be Kang, and the next phase is going to be Doom, and they're all but confirmed. The phase after that is Galactus.
Yeah, yeah. So I think Kang is. I think he's all right. I mean, he's pretty bad.
I'm not. I just it wouldn't be. I mean, I'm just thinking, what would I have put in there? And I'm like. I can't think of one that maybe I would have picked, you know what I mean? But it's like, but Kang just doesn't. he hasn't got any kind of like je ne sais quoi kind of thing. I don't know. He's just
all
like,
I know is I want to see Griffin. I want to see Griffin in one of these things. I want to see one of them ridiculous, over the top C-list villains.
yeah, that's what I'd much rather see small villains, to be honest, than having a big overarching. I'd rather like maybe like AIM as the bad guy, and like they've got a bunch of like villains hired. Or
Again, not to spoil anything, but AIM's coming back. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. AIM's coming back because AIM popped up in Iron Man 2. That's what Aldrich Killian was leading. And then if they're popping up MODOK, they have to come back with AIM.
They've got to have the yellow bucket heads, though. Otherwise, it's not AIM.
And finally, I'm just going to show this one. And this is because this guy, this is a cover buy. Okay, these are cover buys. This artist is just killing it at the moment. It's Lee Bahamo. And he's done, this is the second cover on this, which is an absolute fantastic killer. He did one over Christmas with Joker as Santa Claus with a kid on his lap, which was brilliant. And this is the latest one here. He got him with acting as a puppet master for Red Hood. This artist is killing it. You need to watch out for these. The Christmas one, it was the standard cover. It was a standard cover. You bought it at cover price. It's already going for about $30.
Wow.
Yeah, my thought process on the things is fairly simple. As far as newer books go, I'll see them 3 to 5 years down the line. I have no FOMO now. If it's a big one, it's a big one. So be it. But they're going to reel me in years later.
My stance on these, if I like the cover, I'll buy it at cover price, and I'm happy buying it at cover price. I will not buy it at more than cover price.
Yeah.
So I look at the month ahead, and I'll go through and I'll pick out the ones I like the covers of, and I'll buy them at a place that does 20% discount on pre-orders, free postage. So I get them at bit less than cover price.
Cover price. Well,
I never buy them if they take off. The previous one this guy did is now 20-30 quid.
Yeah,
I wouldn't buy it at that, but I bought it at cover price. So I'm happy to do that.
Good way to do it.
Yeah,
God's sake, if you want to come and hang out with us in the actual stream, I was thinking about it 10 minutes ago. You've been sitting there chatting to us. You could just as easily be sitting in here chatting to us than on the chat if you want.
Please do.
If you want us to send you the link. Actually, I don't know what he looks like. So I've seen. I used to watch some of his videos, but I can't remember what he looks like. But anyway, whatever. But message me on Instagram or something. I'll send you the link if you want to come on and hang out. Did you get in touch with Bill, Kyle? Find out what's going on with him? Because I thought you were supposed to be a regular now. Literally last week, he said you're going to be a regular from now on. And you're going to come on every week. And he was like, yeah. And then I added him to the Geeky Weekly chat.
My guess is, honestly, Bill may be tied up with something right now.
Yeah.
So he said some would be sporadic, and he's got a lot going on. He's got video shoots to do. He'll probably kick himself in the ass afterwards, or he'll come back home here in a bit and realize, oh shit, it started.
He's doing the Shroud of Turin he was telling us about, wasn't he? About the Shroud.
Yeah, he's got stuff going on with that. He's got a lot of plates spinning, and that's why I told him, I said, dude, you're more than welcome as a regular. You're welcome every week, and it's partly my fault for not sending him a reminder. But it's no harm, no foul. It's like, dude, you can be a regular, and I figured you'd come on and shit. But I'm not going to stay on him about it because I want to let him just ease right in and feel right to home. So, and if I try to text him now, I'd flog off again, and, that'd go goofy. But, he'll have something going on. He'll be like, oh, I'll come back next week. And, whatever works, buddy. Whatever works. That's the way I stand with most of them. I just kind of figure these things, we're just going to flow free and easy and not change it so everybody can come in feeling that way. All these creators, all these additional guys.
Yeah, if you want to entice him back, he said he was looking for TV Century 21 or 21st Century, which is a UK comic.
I never heard of that.
It's a Jerry Anderson sort of Captain Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons and Thunderbird.
Captain Scarlet, indestructible.
Joe 90. It's a sort of TV. So if he, so I have got some of those which I've found on, but I'm not buying them. And I also brought this. I showed it to you guys last night. But I got this, which he might be interested in.
Yeah, and he will, and he'll pounce all over. You'll get a good rapport with him once you start shipping with him. Things will start coming, but he's got to dip his feet in. Now he's got his ankles in, and once he gets to his knees, I'm the kind of guy that just dives right in. I go into polar bear plunges.
You dive in naked.
I dive into ice water naked. I don't care. So Bill takes steps. So
keep at your pecker.
I'm not worried about it.
Last one to show you guys. This is a sketch. So I quite like buying blank covers and getting artists to do sketches. I didn't actually get. This is a Batman Zero from the New 52, and this guy called Phil Buckingham has done a cover on this.
Wow,
this blank.
Nice bit of gargoyle work there.
Yeah, nice bit of gargoyle.
That's pretty damn impressive, is what that is.
I think that's quite nice, don't you? Really.
That gargoyle to me looks like if Kyle and the dog he's sitting had babies.
Well, there you go. We're working on it.
Actually, great. Now you mention it, I think you're absolutely spot on. Yeah, get your peanut butter out, Kyle.
All right. Well, there's a one you bastard to Mark and a one you bastard to Graham. You bastards. They want me to get peanut butter out on you, Keita.
That's not. You won't be allowed to babysit you again, poor little thing.
Fucking weirdos.
Oh man.
Me and my fucking weirdo chums.
Hey, you guys aren't on cover slingers this week. Anyone got any ugly clothes comic covers they can think of for me to dig out? Pick your brains. I'm gonna get some Kronos out, because his costume is absolutely off the charts ugly.
I'd have to check the schedule for the cancer thing, but if you need me, I think I can.
Well, you want some yellow costumes for.
Yeah, Matilda hates a bit of yellow, doesn't she?
Yeah, but Hellcat's not bad because she's yellow.
With a touch of what do you call it? A touch of leopard skin. She used to be off Kingies for a while. But yeah, I'll have to dig through the comics and find something. I'm sure I'll find something.
Well, if you need me, let me know, and I'll pop in.
Jimmy Olsen cover. I mean,
Jimmy Olsen as well. Yeah, we are actually short one, but I've asked Ray because I know you was going to be doing your the streaming that, so I've asked Ray anyway. He's always good for loads of comics. Right, I've got no comics with me, but I just saw these books on the side here, so I thought I'd show these off. Alan Moore.
Oh, nice.
That's it's got like a breakdown of all his stuff basically. It's not. Yeah. It's got like the whole of his content kind of.
I interviewed that guy.
Oh, the guy who did it. Oh yeah, that's right. This is the guy who did the book. That's why I remember seeing that. The Strange Haven.
Yeah, he wrote Strange Haven. Yeah.
That's right. I think I remember seeing that at the time when you did it. I said, "Oh, that name looks familiar," and I saw it. The guy who did this book. You should get in here sometime. Is he still working? Strange Haven's finished now, isn't it?
I don't know. Yes, it is. I think it is. Yes.
Maybe we can get him on again. Like you can, if you're still in touch with him and he's interested, and if you're interested in chatting to him again. Tom Strong. We were talking about the Man of Bronze yesterday, and I was thinking Tom Strong to me is very much like the Man of Bronze.
Savage.
Savage. Yeah, it's very much. Have you read Tom Strong at all, you guys?
I've got a few. I've never read any.
He's good. I like Tom Strong. He's great character. Good like stories as well.
I'll get them out and read them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're cool. They're really cool.
I just figured out why the dog was too scared to come up and see me. It's the guards I have at the bathroom door. She literally snuck up to them terrified.
Okay. I got a Watchmen book as well.
Oh, that's very nice.
Of the Watchmen kind of thing. I kind of made videos about on my Patreon because I do like a Patreon video every month for my supporters. And so I've been through all of these in the past.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it's good. Sort of like a coffee table book. Not I ever only guess over or look at them anyway, because they're just sitting on the shelf basically.
I love coffee table books. I have like an entire shelf of comic book coffee table books behind me.
Yeah, Dr. Manhattan on the Moon.
Yeah, Dr. Manhattan with his wang out. That's the last thing I've got is big old ultimate guide to the X-Men.
Oh, that's nice as well.
Let's have a look, actually. Let's see if I can find any quiz questions for you guys.
What was that? The Ultimate Guide to the X-Men. One of the passion books or something.
Is a big old.
Yeah, I love those.
He's got a very small head for a big body.
Yeah, isn't he? How does the small brain in that head power manage to send messages to the rest of the body? Got a breakdown of Cyclops' visor, ruby quartz plates, finger pressure translator, ear cap lock. Interesting.
Are you an X-Men fan, Gray?
I don't mind the X-Men. Yeah, I think my first comic book. Not that I remembered it, but when I was going for my comics a couple of years ago, I saw a comic book. I knew I bought that when it was in the shop in the newsagents, and I looked at the date. It was older than my other previous that I had thought was my first comics. So I got a couple of comics from 1979, which I thought these must be my earliest ones. And then I saw that one. It was like 77, and it was like, oh, well, this is. I remember buying this at the time. So this is my first. It was like 109 or something like that. The one where Wolverine's getting smacked by the what's his face? The
Guardian
leader.
The Vindicator. Yeah, I need that one.
Well, yeah. Well, good luck to you.
I need that one. Yeah.
Good luck in price, mate. Good luck finding my copy. Because I remember as a kid, I remember at school, in my junior school, we had Marvel UK reprints, and they had them in the class, so it was English, or if there were certain sessions, the teacher would let you read comic books. And I remember reading in that the first Wolverine fighting Wendigo and Hulk. And I remember reading that in the class.
There you go. Beautiful.
Let's do some easy questions. Let's show you all. Who's this guy?
Ernest the Untouchable.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I wasn't sure if you could see the captions. I didn't hold out for too long. Oh. Do you know who this guy is?
Mesmero.
Yeah, Mesmero.
I'm going to have Kyle on my quiz team.
What about this guy here?
The Vanisher.
Sure is. Well done. You're doing well, mate. You're doing well.
Pretty sure you're not going to snap the dog? Oh, my God. The dog's trying to figure out what's going on. She's knocking gates over, knocked over Superman. Oh, well, gee, who am I looking at there?
No, I think rather than just showing it off rather than making it cool.
No, you're not getting up here. The cat just mewed in the bedroom and the dog.
That's Beast and Wolverine and Cyclops. I can do them.
Get down. You're not getting up here with me. Jumping on these bugs.
Thunderbird, is it Thunderbird?
Thunderbird, Polaris.
Who's the guy who looks like Bullseye? Can't be Bullseye. Who's the guy with the target on his chest?
Well, can we have one at a time, please? I didn't catch all that.
Where's the guy with the target on his chest?
Havoc.
That's Alex Summers.
Alex Summers. Here, hold that up. I'm going to do something real messed up. All right, you ready for this? I'm going to go left to right, front row, then I'm going to go top. Alex Summers, Havoc. John Proudstar, Thunderbird. Hank McCoy, Beast. Peter Rasputin, Colossus. Just Logan, just Wolverine. James Howlett, if you will. Scott Summers, Cyclops. Kurt Wagner, Nightcrawler. Jean Grey, Miss Marvel, yeah, Marvel Girl. Aurora Monroe, Storm. Warren Worthington III, Angel. Bobby Drake, Iceman. Charles Xavier. Lorna Dane, Polaris. Sean O'Cassidy, the Banshee, and I'm brain farting.
Yeah,
brain farting.
Did you call Sunspot that guy?
Sunfire.
Sunfire.
Sunfire. I'm brain farting Sunfire's
I
name.
don't know his name is either. I wouldn't know his name is.
All right, this dog is gonna make me nuts. She's not gonna step over now. Come on.
Guessing something Japanese.
Come on. Come on. His first name though is Shiro.
Right.
His first name is Shiro. So yeah, don't try and get me on trivia. Hell, I got Marvel trivia games over here I correct the answers to. So
I think it'd be quite good to get a quiz with Pete on one side and Kyle on the other side, because Pete triple G.
Oh, I won't go on those with him because I don't want to embarrass him. I want to let him be the king. It's his world. I'd smoke him. I'd absolutely smoke him.
I'm going to arrange. You can.
No, if he comes on here, we can do it, but I'm not going to embarrass him in his world.
No. Well, I'll get him on here. You can be handicapped by having me on your team.
Yeah,
I can spot Batman and Superman.
He's got that little group where he is the brain box of that group, and I'm gonna let it be because I was telling guys the other day they want me to do trivia things with them, and I'm like, no, no, I will not, because that's my thing, and I don't want to take anybody else's thunder because I'm just that. You know, I read Overstreets to read appearances. I've gone over stuff with a fine-tooth comb. That's my encyclopedia.
You're very good. Pete's very good as well. So I see if I can get you. I'll bring him on here and we'll do it.
I'm used to knowing people's first appearances. Most of the time, I haven't got a clue.
Yeah, you're pretty good, Ray. You recognise some pretty obscure characters.
Yeah, characters. I'm good at characters, but I'm not good. I don't know what characters, who wrote them, what comic they first appeared in, that kind of thing. But like characters, I'm normally pretty good by that. And like storylines, if I've read it, I would quite often, remember it. But that's what I would. And like I do like to try and remember people's alter egos as well. I do like to try and remember what their real names are. Not that they're actually real people or anything, but you know what I mean.
All right.
So I get annoyed when I can't remember one. Like, the annoying thing I find as well, like you remember you talking about one, like in one video, next video you do it again, and suddenly you can't remember their name for love nor money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once you can't remember the name, another name pops in your head. You can't get that other name that pops in your head.
But the other thing that happens is you can't, you know it, and you can't remember it, and then half an hour later, when you're thinking about something else, it'll come into your head.
Old man brain, definitely.
That is correct.
All right. Well, hey, we've gone 52 minutes, and I haven't chimed in yet. You ready for me to pull a segment for a minute?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, you got some comics. Or you got to do a?
I got some comics. I got some stuff I'm going to talk about. Talk about. I haven't fished it out yet, but on the cancer thing this weekend, at least one of the panels I'm on is we're doing an overview of the death of Captain Marvel graphic novel 1.
Right.
And then I told him anytime over that 24 hours that he needs to plug me in, I'm going to pop on. I'm going to give away some fancy schmancy old golden age books and stuff like that. But I'm all about doing that. And then
we're drinking beer in my segment. I've got it easy.
There you go.
Yeah, how can you get a segment on drinking beer? I think that's the easy option, mate.
For pediatric brain cancer, he's gonna be drinking beer. So there we go. But I'm all immersed in the grow the community thing now, even though I'm at like 206 subs, and I don't care where I go with subscriptions. But there's kids out there doing a lot of good with things, and one of them is this kid named Alex Big Blue. And like I said, I sent you the link to that. And he had posed a particularly cool question of this is me kind of taking on the challenge, because I told him I'm not shooting a video to do all that stuff. I don't need to be in your drawings or stuff. But yeah, I mean, if he does a contest, great. But the question he posed is what intrigued me. So he's giving away some comic books for $450, and there's some pretty decent books in there, and he's going to add some stuff to it. But he posed a particularly interesting question to everybody. His question about things going out was, what's a semi-obscure character you don't think gets enough love now? And I thought, well, that's interesting to me. So I'm going to throw a shout out to Alex. Hi, Alex. You know, if he wants to put me in and we can distribute these books or whatever, that's great. But, you know, you're speaking my language when you say obscure characters who just don't get enough love in the comics. Well, we all know where I'm going first.
Wonder Man.
And then talk about bad costumes. Has there ever been a worse costume on a major character? And I love it. I love that costume.
Actually, I don't mind his costumes, but they are right. Pretty much all quite naff, though, aren't they? All of his costumes are a little bit on the side, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like
they're kind of wacky.
Safari coat that he wore to the.
We all know I love my Wonder Man. So.
There you go, Kyle. That's a nice copy there.
There we go. And then the other suckers I'm for, and of course I love that one. I love that cover too. What cheese! I mean, what absolute cheese on this cover. You know, Moon Knight's the only one that seems almost normal. You know, and he's a Batman ripoff in a white costume, and then just cheese galore there. And then we all know I didn't even pull out my Defenders 92 because everybody's sick of me showing it. But Nighthawk,
I like that.
really smaller character. I was going to pull out my Avengers 69 too, but he's not on the cover. So I thought, well, here we go. There's an underused character in, as far as I'm concerned. He's in the greatest story I've ever read.
It's Kyle Richmond, isn't it? His name?
Yeah, Kyle Richmond. And I gravitated for the namesake too. But you know, talk about an underused character. This guy's got some je ne sais quoi to it. And the biggest, and it kills me.
Next Mark, we've all used it now.
even though this character basically in this story, I mean, he was the cheesiest character before. I couldn't stand him.
I'm just going to speak to so Lady Axe says, she said, hello, I have nothing of importance to say. I've just come on to eavesdrop. Lady Axe, if you watched us at all, we've got nothing of importance to say.
There you go. We're right there with you.
Lady Axe is one of my favorite friends. She's got a band called Lady Axe, and also she writes horror books as well.
There you go. Very cool. Very cool write machine. Now, a character who came and went really in a brilliant story here because he was
write comics. I'm sure I remember seeing a post from her on Facebook saying she's doing some writing for a comic book writer or something. Drop us a message about that, Lady X, if you will. I'm sure I remember seeing you post something about doing some work on a comic book. Sorry, you carry on, mate.
It's okay. It's okay. And it's got me thinking of things too. See that big dead space right there? Right. Where's my finger? I don't want to cover the camera. That big dead white space above my stairs right there.
Right.
Somebody's going to help me pick out something I'm going to hang up there. I don't want to hang up my Steranko up there. I don't want to hang up musical swag. I got to figure out something to hang up there. I hate that dead space.
Yeah.
But back to the topic at hand, a character who I'd love to see come back, even though in this story arc, he takes on the costume and gets rid of the costume. But I will never stop talking about this. And it's been nearly 25. It's like 22 years since this came out.
You mentioned that.
This is the best thing that came out of Civil War. Yeah. This story arc here is the best thing that came out of Civil War.
Who's the character? Penance.
Yeah.
Who is Speedball? Just the cheesiest, stupid character was Speedball. Just totally unlikable. And like 600 people died in the thing, and he's got 610 of these spikes to spike up his energies when he gets hit.
Yeah, talk about bloody taking a sweet character and turning him into a bloody twisted bloody Wolverine.
And it's amazing. It's amazing. Wolverine doesn't have shit on him. And they tell it in this story. He doesn't have shit on him. And then he goes and he whips it out in front of Doom. He goes toe to toe with Doom, and he's like,
I don't even know this guy.
He's like, up yours. He goes toe to toe with Doom and just basically says, eat one.
Okay.
You know, I'm gonna.
That's nothing. Luke Cage did that in the 70s, over $200.
Yeah, but I mean, his ultimate goal was to catch up to Nitro, who was under prisoner, who was the guy that did the explosion. And he this skinny, scrawny little nobody puts just an ever-loving beat down on this. And then he pays his penance, and then he just goes back to normal.
What was that Doom cover, Kyle? Because I collect Doom covers. I haven't got that one.
Oh my God! But if you get the whole series. You can get this whole series for like $3.
Yeah.
You know, and it's Paul Goulet's the art. Just it's amazing.
Can't work if it's 4 or 3, Mark.
I think it's
this is
4 or 5.
4 or 5.
4 or 5, but it's a 5-issue series. It's so worth to get.
It does look a little bit like Dr. Doom's playing panpipes, though. That's the thing on that cover.
Yeah, and he's over his castle.
Yeah,
but I mean,
I know. But
just,
if you squeeze,
this is just unrelenting. This starts at. There are some lead ups to it, like the front line is where he actually gets the costume. But this will tell you everything you need to know in this 5-issue series. It has logical flashbacks. There's Bill. I told you Bill would come around. Sorry I didn't nudge you, Bill. I've been just kind of cockamamie today. But this story, I don't think they'd ever top it. I really don't. This will make you want to read anything it's attached to because it's just so gritty, brilliant, honest. And the hero comes out at the end and goes, I'm not a hero. I'm a piece of shit. I couldn't save these people. You know, it is what it is. But if I were writing comic books, I'd still be putting out a penance book. You know, because Speedball is a joke. This guy's got tons of power and it's just unreal. This may be, I'm going to say it without question, this is the best limited series I've ever read, ever.
Well, I'm going to blow $14.99, Kyle, on your recommendation here, and it's on eBay for 1 to 5.
Co-writing a horror metal release from Creamy Rat Studios, the famous Greek death metal band. Unfortunately,
that's the extent of mine here. Just shouting out Alex and doing that and talking about doing the thing. That's my big ramble on for the moment. But I cannot recommend this series enough.
Well, I've bought it. Okay.
So,
you bought the whole thing now.
Creamy Rat Studios. Well, with a name like that, it can't.
And anybody that has foreign editions of this book, I'm looking for it. So, because I have to talk about my Wonder Man. So, and hopefully, as long as they don't screw up the character in the movies, hopefully that'll get even more popular. Because he's just my kind of schmo. That's why I like him. They're just my kind of schmoes. Because that's me. I'm just a schmo. Okay, that's my talking points for the day.
Yeah, Bill.
Hey, guys.
All right, mate.
I'm going to open a beer.
Go for it.
This is Love Street. It's a sub company of Carbotch. This is Peach, which I'm not exactly a fan, but it's my last beer, so
just the cans enough to put me off.
Beggars can't be choosers. Cheers.
I'm gonna do a bit of trivia here, see if he gets it, because I'm pretty sure he gets it. Sing the song along with me. Where have you gone, darling Billy? Hi, my name is William Bill for short. Bill Sachter.
I haven't heard that song since I was a kid. My mom sang it to me. Thanks a lot.
Who knows who Wild Bill Sachter is? Anybody know who Wild Bill Sachter is?
So how is everybody? I'm sorry I was late.
Not bad, mate. Not bad. I wasn't sure if you were late or if you just thought we started this time and you was on time, but we got the times mixed up or something.
No, actually, I'm just now acclimating to being busy on Wednesdays 2 to 4, and I realized at 2:45 that I was not on the show.
So I apologize.
I apologize. It will be hardwired next week.
No worries. It's not exactly a well-oiled machine. This show. It's as people do what they want to do.
I love it, and I don't want to screw up like my first real week. So, but I did.
So Bill, last week you said the comic you were looking for was 21st Century TV Century 21. Okay, so when I checked that out, I realized that it was a sort of Jerry Anderson thing. It's sort of Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet,
right?
Joe 90,
right?
Yeah. So, and I found some on eBay that I'm happy to go and buy for you. And I also have that, which I don't know. Is it the Thunderbirds? Is it the Jerry Anderson stuff you like, or what is it you like about 21st Century?
Well, 21st Century had a lot of comics on American series that never had comics over here.
Oh, okay.
In addition to, I'm a huge Jerry Anderson fan, so it all kind of went together. Those and the Strange and is it Smash? What were the Marvel titles? The early Marvel titles?
Oh yeah, there was one called. I sent one to Kyle actually. Rampage. Smack. That yes, there was a couple. Fanatic, I think one's called. There's a number of early Marvel ones like that. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the Grail for me is I want the Hanna-Barbera annual with Space Ghost and Mytor and Frankenstein Jr. on it. I don't know how hard that is to find, but it was around 67, 68-ish.
Was it a UK annual? Was it a UK annual?
UK annual.
Okay. That was weird. Them Hanna-Barbera, because I used to get some annuals, and it'd be like cartoons I never saw, like the Great Grape Ape and stuff like that. And right. I don't remember ever seeing cartoons of that, but we had the annuals. Like I can't remember the other characters, but there was like just a few Hanna-Barbera. I never saw the cartoons, but I had the books of them.
Yeah. But I could never understand why you guys got books on these characters and they got very little airplay over there, and yet they got tons of airplay over here, and they never did anything with them.
It's crazy. It's interesting.
It makes no sense to me.
We used to get Star Trek annuals as well. I remember a Star Trek annual.
Right.
70.
Yeah,
I've had a Kung Fu annual.
I've got two Kung Fu annuals actually in the other room. I've got two Kung Fu annuals in the other room if you're looking for them.
and they had no Kung Fu comics. I mean, they had Kung Fu comics, but they didn't have the TV series over here. It was just amazing to me what you guys even had like Cannon and Barnaby Jones comics over there, which we never had in the States.
Oh, the TV special one
still freaks me out. I still wonder why.
TV comic, that kind of thing. Yeah, I remember.
I mean, it's just one of those weird things that.
Mark, it's very peculiar.
Do you remember looking, Mark?
I'm sorry.
You remember Looking? There was a
magazine. Yeah.
And that used to have TV tie-in kind of comics.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did have a TV tie-in, but it actually was programmed they actually had on TV. I mean, the Hanna-Barbera annual, I just had a look at. I found a couple. 1964 Jetsons. We never had the Jetsons on English television. Why?
You know, I'm surprised they didn't do European versions of the Flintstones and Jetsons. You know.
Yeah, Mark, you've already given an explanation as to why that is in your Alan Class backstory.
Yeah,
they needed material. It was cheaper, and because it wasn't shown over there, it was cheaper for them to print. The licensing was cheaper. So
that's right. That makes perfect sense.
It would have been very cheap to do it. Yeah.
And adults ain't gonna know what comics the kids want. They just see an annual that would do for a stocking filler, and they buy it.
I'm guessing you have America's Best Comics #1 with the Fantastic Four and all the Hanna-Barbera stuff and George's there.
Yeah, it was that's an oddball thing. It was put out by Marvel, but mainly had Harvey Comics in it.
Yeah. Yep, I got a beater copy up there that Metarog wants from me, but All right, now back to my trivia. Come on now. Even though it was a made-for-TV movie here, it had Oscar-winning actors in it. Come on now. Who's Wild Bill Sachter?
Oh, I've never heard of it. I have no idea. I forgot you even said it. I forgot that was a question hours ago.
Who played Wild Bill Sachter in the movie?
I've no idea. I never heard of
Wild
it.
Bill who?
Wild Bill Sachter.
Never heard of it.
Mickey Rooney played him in the TV movies. Wild Bill Sachter was a mentally handicapped man from the Midwest.
Oh,
who
yeah.
became the presidential.
He
He became the presidential Santa Claus for decades.
So a bit like Trump.
So
Decades.
are we talking real life?
Decades.
Or are we talking comic books? With American politics, you never know. I wasn't too sure. Yeah. So this is a TV movie, a TV character.
Yeah, and it's a real person. It's based on a real person. Bill Sachter was a real person who was like a hobo guy serving coffee in this broke down diner. And in the movie, Dennis Quaid finds him. And every time I see Bill, the reason I'm even bringing this up, every time I get on the phone with Bill, I just, in my head, I try not to sing it to him, but in my head, I get that song going in my head. Where have you gone, darling Billy? Because it's a song he used to sing.
As obscure as that My Blinking Chauffeur one that you talked about last night. It's like...
Yeah.
That My Chauffeur is so good.
Played by an American actor. Yeah.
That is so good. Yeah, I'm just telling you, when you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about. And he does, Leland Crook does British people proud in that. I'm telling you right now.
Let's see what Bill
Okay, Kyle, I've got a trivia question for you.
Ask away.
I'm listening.
Okay, trivia question is, what character appears on the first issue of the Beano?
My guess would be Dennis the Menace.
No.
No, I thought it was the guy who, again, I'm totally brain farting his name.
Cover, you say?
You got the big drawing of him.
He appeared on the cover of the first issue of the Beano.
You've got the big drawing of all of them, right? From the Allen class party, isn't it that guy?
No. So
Okay.
I'll tell you guys.
Ostrich or something like that.
Yes, Gray, you've got it. Gray is right. It is an ostrich called Big Ego.
Big Ego. Okay.
Well, Lego my ego.
Yeah.
Now I won't soon forget that now when it comes back up. But all right, so you're whipping out your Sienkiewicz. Is that one of the $9?
So I got this a couple weeks ago to used bookstore, and I paid $20 for it. And when it came out, it was $20, like 30 years ago. Yeah. Then I get home and find out it's worth a couple $100 in this condition.
Wow.
Nice. And get Bill to sign it.
Yeah. And he'll only charge $25 to sign it.
Yeah.
Which I don't have a problem with
that. You can get the chimpanzee to sign it, not the gibbon.
Right. No, that costs extra, Mark. to get the Sienkiewicz to sign it. But I love Bill. He's worth every penny. I honestly think he's as close as our generation will get to a Norman Rockwell. He's that good, I think. What do you think, Kyle?
You didn't agree with your mate Neil then?
Huh?
You didn't agree with Neil Adams' assessment of Bill Sienkiewicz?
Oh, what did he think?
Well, you interviewed him. I watched your interview this week.
I don't remember what he said about Bill.
Yeah.
Well,
Bill started out a copycat to him, but Bill
he was highly influenced by him.
Yeah, Bill was an admitted copycat.
Yeah.
I've what Bill Sienkiewicz I've seen. I've not been massively enamored with myself. He's not one that really floats.
You want to be massively impressed with Bill Sienkiewicz art? It's while he was mimicking Adams. The backstories he did of Moon Knight in the Hulk magazines are incredible. I mean, they're just incredible. It needs to be in a bound volume.
Mm-hmm.
They're just incredible. And it looks like Adam's artwork, but it's got that flair he's got for punching through it, where Adams has the punch coming at you. Sienkiewicz puts the punch going through it and puts a little more fluidity on it. And I do
Let
eventually
me
want
see
all.
what else I can find.
I love the guy. I think he's
I
a great.
mean, those are so good, and he's a blatant Adams knockoff, but it's got his flair in it. It's got his total flair in it. He got a little too linear for me later, but man, when that guy puts a pen to paper, it is just stupid good. He does YouTube tutorial things where he does drawings that are just so good.
Who, Bill?
Bill, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'll have to look that up. So I got this somewhat recently. Can anybody guess the artist?
No,
Well, that looks like BWS or PCR. But if it's animation, I guess
No, you're on the right continent.
Is it Ralph Bakshi? Oh, Ralph. Oh, it's Mobius, isn't it?
It's Mobius.
Mobius, yeah.
But the problem is, when I got it, look at all that damage on this side. I was so pissed.
All right, and here's the trivia: Mobius's real name,
Jean Girard.
Jean Girard.
Gerard, eh?
Jean Girard is Mobius. Dog, you cannot be this needy. Are you really gonna be this needy? Get up here.
I ate with him once at a TGI Fridays.
Not
Mobius, yeah.
So he was French. What was he doing in a TGI Fridays?
Well, hell, if he knew, you know. What is these TGI Fridays? No, I'm
eating cheese sticks. Yeah.
Hey, he was happy. We had beer, we had wine.
Snails in front of it.
He got beer and wine, it'd have been okay.
All right. So, Bill,
how old was he at the time?
This would have been the late 80s, so I would guess maybe all of late 40s, early 50s.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a wonderful guy.
Is he still around?
No.
No, he passed like 10 years ago.
Like about 10 years ago, yeah.
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 One of my favorite. I absolutely adore Mobius.
Me too.
Talk about another book that I need, that Silver Surfer Parable series. I keep finding issue 1, and I've got issue 1. I need issue 2 of Parable.
Those are great. The Mobius on Silver Surfer is fantastic.
So, all right. Well, Bill, since our regular guest this week had to cancel due to C-19, and he's coming back on in a week or 2.
Regular guest? He's not a regular guest, is he?
Our scheduled. I didn't mean regular. I meant scheduled. I'm thicker than a dog. You got to realize my brain's running out my nose right now. But, Bill, you're in the hot seat this week.
Yay!
I want to pick your brain as a guest. I want to see things. I want to know what got you where you are, when you got there, why you did it.
And interesting panel stories. I want to hear interesting panel stories from cons.
Well, let me think. You really are putting me on the spot. Let me take a drink of beer and.
Well, just whatever you want to talk about, mate.
Well, there was 1 year I took Dave Sim to a strip bar, and we wound up at the end of the night at my friend's apartment, and he woke up out of a dead sleep. He'd been possibly imbibing. Woke up out of a dead sleep and said, "I'm supposed to be on my plane in an hour," and we were about an hour from the airport.
Was this Dave Sim, did you say?
Dave Sim of Cerebus fame.
Yeah.
And a lot of infamy also. But he was great. We got him to the airport. He made it back to Canada. But I'm trying to think who. I got to meet a lot of the guys in the early days. I got to meet both of Los Bros Hernandez. They were really nice to be around. This is before Mike Jurgenberg of Sandman. He was a really nice guy. We had almost too good of a time when we hung out.
Right. Say that again, because I always mispronounce his name when I read it. Jurgenberg?
Dringenberg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I get him mixed up with my friend Steve Ringenberg.
Yeah.
And so let's not even go into that. But yeah. But no, I was quite active in the Dallas Fantasy Fair in the 80s. I helped with the talent and things of that nature. It's how I got to have dinner a couple times with the likes of Will Eisner, Jack Kirby. Who's the guy who used to write Hulk for Keith David?
Peter David. Peter David.
Peter David. I know it was one of the Davids.
Keith David's the actor from They Live.
Right. So Peter David, he wasn't even a writer at the time. He was an executive for Marvel. And so Dave Sim would always have us hang out around him right around dinner time because Peter had the Marvel expense account and he'd take us all out for a nice dinner on Marvel. And so I met Peter, you know, as you know, the dinner guy. But really, really nice guy. But these were my college days. I was like, sure, I'll go eat at a steakhouse. And but we had a lot of fun. Fred Burke was a friend of mine back then. He was a Eclipse editor. Trying to think who else. George Perez, of course. Salt of the Earth guy. Got to meet Al Williamson.
Nice.
He was wonderful. And he was kind of a quiet guy, you know. He wasn't. He was already starting to mellow out at the time, but he looked so much younger than all his contemporaries. He must have led a fairly good lifestyle, I guess, as opposed to the other guys. Yeah. Harvey Kurtzman, great guy. Would give you like an hour of time just to talk about things and show him your work, things of that nature. He was really prince among men. And
yeah, here's some Harvey Kurtzman British trivia. Who was Harvey Kurtzman kind of influential in putting together for British television? Don't answer this one, Bill, because I know you know.
Okay.
Harvey Kurtzman was fairly influential in putting together a troupe for British comic television.
The Monkeys?
Huh?
The Monkeys?
No. For British television. A very influential in these guys getting together.
Is it a music band?
Nope. I already gave away too much. I tried not to say comedy. Yep. Monty Python.
Really?
Harvey Kurtzman is very influential with
the Python. To give us a clue there.
Did you get that?
Yeah. Very influential. I used to have the old magazines, but there's like a magazine, it's called A or something like that. He put out some stuff in the 60s, and Terry Gilliam was shooting pictures for it. And he got John Cleese to do stuff, and that put Gilliam and Cleese in the same room together. And then when they were pitching around ideas, he helped gestate when they ended up getting together.
Well, you're missing something
huge
major.
Kurtzman influence. Huh?
You're missing something major there. The connection with Terry was an artist for Humbug.
Humbug. Yeah, that's what I couldn't remember. I kept calling it A, but it's
A.
I got the but Humbug magazine.
Yeah,
Humbug magazine by Kurtzman. Get him. You'll find John Cleese doing his silly walk 2 years before he did it on Python.
Nice.
In a fumity book. They're like fumity books. They're pictures and captions and things like that. And it's very influential in how Python got together.
And do you guys know about you guys? I'm sure you guys have heard of Gilbert Sheldon, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The Warthog.
Yeah.
Very freaked by it.
Yeah.
The Warthog. When do you think he first showed up in comics?
Beds and Heads #1.
Nope.
Was it? I mean, I thought Beds and Heads was the first comic.
No, it was Ranger. I can't remember the number, but it was Ranger magazine from University of Texas, 1962. And he and a bunch of these guys, a bunch of the first underground comic guys, including Crumb, I believe, they all worked together on this. And their art director was this girl who sometimes sang folk named Janis Joplin.
Janis Joplin, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pre-Crumb, but I thought God Knows was the first
sort of indie published thing. Was it called?
No, it was published by the campus. It was like their comic magazine.
Yeah, Austin, Texas was the birth of underground comics.
It was,
and God
the
knows
birth of the hippie scene too.
Okay.
They all moved. See, they all moved from Austin to San Francisco, and so it all percolated in San Francisco, but it started in Austin.
It started in Austin.
I didn't know that.
And I actually have the edition that she's in the art department on, which is the only other professional credit she ever got other than her singing.
Wow, that's great.
Which is why cool. Bob Crumb did the cover for the Big Brother and the Holding Company record that's upstairs.
That's how they all met.
They all knew each other out in Texas. Yeah, I'm trying to remember his name that did God Knows, because I didn't think that was Shelton. I knew Shelton was.
It was Mavrides might have been there too.
Mavrides was there. Shelton was there.
There's someone major we're leaving out, and I can't.
Or is God Knows was Shelton. I thought it was 64, but yeah.
No, 62.
Hey, brother Joe, 62. Yeah, because I got a 69 copy of God Knows that Printman did. But that's why I said you won't find an original, because that's what it came from, was those Austin newsletters and whatever those things were. So that's the birth. That's the acknowledged birth of underground comics. I mean, everybody acknowledges it. Overstreet, Crumb, they all say it.
But that's 62, not 65, like everybody thinks.
Yeah, so, I thought it was 64. I guess the second print of God Knows was 64, and then the full regular comic print of God Knows was 69. Because I'm a historian on that stuff, but not as good as I should be. So, and of course, see, here it is. I'm a known underground historian, yet, right? I guess I got to point that way. Right there is a better one. And then I'm an underground, or I'm a historian.
I don't know about that.
Victorian, and yet there down there is a new Victorian.
I don't know beans. I've heard of Robert Crumb. That's about it.
Yeah, Mark's going to surpass me in the Victorian era knowledge. So maybe I'll just be the king of the platinum for a while, but you know, I'm telling you. And hey, CJ, you need to be in on this. You know, we're your British buddies. You know, can you put the link in there, Graham? See if Crazy Old Comics Journey, who I'm also doing I'm being Journey's hype man for an upcoming battle, for a cover battle, wrestling style coming up. But put the link in. Let's get some more bodies in here, since Bill Phil's put on the spot, stomping his foot. But I still want to pry up and Bill. Bill's told me some great stories that I'd love people to hear them. You know, because this guy's sat and shot the cock and bull with Jack Kirby, for fuck's sake.
Do you guys have this?
No.
I've got a UK Digest that's the same size as that, with the same cover.
All right. Well, CJ, we're thinking about you.
Little book. It's got great graphics. It's, you know, handles the Kirby years very well. I'll learn how to.
Right, yeah, mine's just a.
And then the back cover is Alex Ross.
Alex Ross.
That's nice. That's nice.
And then this is the book that guys of a certain age over here know. And this is the only way most of us could learn about old TV series, because we didn't have cable yet. And so it has all the great 60s and 70s shows and episode guides.
Right.
And I learned about most of these shows without even watching them. And then when TV changed and became Watch As You Will, suddenly all this stuff shows up, and I already know about it because I read the book.
And now you write the book on it. So there you go.
Men of a certain age. Am I right, gentlemen?
Yeah.
When we were growing up, it's like, I can't believe you grew up without television. Now my nieces and nephews, I can't believe you grew up without the internet. You know?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I remember it was just free. It was free channels. I remember just free channels when we first had them. And we had a black and white TV as well quite early on.
Yeah, we did too.
I watched the Berlin Wall come down on a black and white television about that big.
Wow. I remember our first color television. It was probably late 60s, and it was quite a big deal. You know,
very big deal. Yeah. I don't think we got our first color television until about 1973, but you know.
I remember when video players first came out. We had a black and white TV, and we got a video player. We had a black and white TV, and we called it Doctor Who or something. And then we took it to our mum's fella, and it came out in color. It was like, how does that work? We got a black and white TV. How come there's color on the video? So it's obviously just the signal that it's recording, isn't it? It's the TV.
Yeah, for people that don't know, they were still making black and white TVs right into the early 90s.
Yeah.
And little screens and stuff like that. And us old military guys, we get them like as a radio belt in the side and a black and white TV about that big with an antenna come up on it.
I'm a bit older than you guys, so my first recollection of watching television was at my school when I was about 7 or 8. And they had one black and white television in a great big room, and we were all allowed to watch it one evening to watch the moon landing.
Oh, yeah.
There was about 70 of us, 7 to 12-year-olds, sat in this gym looking at a little television screen about this big.
You couldn't see it, could you?
Watching the moon landing. Yeah, exactly.
You have a better chance looking out the window than looking up.
Yeah.
Well, you were lucky. We had to get woken up at midnight to watch it over here.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, I was like, I think I was 6, and I remember it very vividly, you know. And it was on a color TV, but of course, all you could see is the black and white transmission.
Yeah, color TV didn't really do you any benefit.
Didn't do a damn bit of good. No. And then I was 6 months old, and my mom put a T-shirt on me that said I would be running for president in 2008. She took me downtown. This was November 21st, 1963. She had me shake hands with John F. Kennedy.
Oh.
And of course, the next day, tragically, he died. And strangely enough, I believe either the next day or the day after that was the day that Doctor Who first premiered.
Yeah, that's right. Doctor Who first aired.
And isn't that strange? And so the day after JFK was assassinated, my mom burned the shirt in the backyard and said, I never want one of my kids to be the president. He might get shot. So sad, but
I thought you were secretly Ross Perot for a second then.
What's that?
I thought you were secretly Ross Perot. Is it Ross Perot? Is that the guy's name? No, probably not.
Yeah,
Ross Perot?
There was a Ross Perot.
Hey?
He was a multi-billionaire who started a computer company.
I thought he might have run for president in 2008, so I was thinking maybe that was your.
In 2008 it was Obama.
Oh, was
and,
it?
Yeah, Perot ran in 92.
92 and 96.
I think the Demon ran in 92 as well, actually. I think the Demon ran in 92 in his comic book. Or maybe it was 96.
Etrigan.
Yeah, Etrigan.
Yeah. I do believe I fell in the moat, so now I ask you to go out and vote. It always rhymed.
It probably was. Yeah, all rhymed. All rhymed all the time.
I love Etrigan, actually. And Etrigan was taken from the movie Faust, which also had a character that appeared from Faust that appeared in Prince Valiant.
Yeah, apparently Prince Valiant dressed up as a demon for a French dress party, and Kirby
Right.
took his costume for the demon look, didn't he?
In
Apparently
the
that's
strip.
right. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Cool.
Boy, we're hitting everything today, aren't we, fellas?
Well, we're just expanding people's knowledge. Yeah, if
Oh my God,
CJ wasn't at work, we'd pull him on. But yeah, I forgot he's at work right now. So, but
I think
yeah,
the best Etrigan depiction was Alan Moore in Swamp Thing when he put him in the Swamp Thing. That was really good, really well done. The way he used him in that Swamp Thing comic.
Yeah, no, very good.
Yeah,
that's where I know him from as well.
Yeah,
and I will say this till I'm blue in the face. I actually got writing credit above Alan Moore in a book you guys can get. Fanzine
You
number
only tell us
one.
that every week, Kyle.
Yeah, pretty much every
Fanzine
week
number
you bring
one.
that up.
I will brag about that till the day I die. I don't care if it's alphabetical.
Just give your ass a chance for a second. Let someone else have a word in edgeways. Tell us about this article. What was the article in that magazine? You got to send it to us so we can read it out or whatever on the stream sometime. Instead of just keep saying it, tell us about it. Let's hear about the article.
My original copy of that got lost in the mail, so I didn't actually get a physical copy of one, which you guys can get over there. I can link you in to get all those copies. I've got digital copies, which again, it's.
I did see an interview with Alan Moore on YouTube.
And he mentioned
what his biggest regret was, and he said that guy Kyle got higher credits than I did.
I bet it was. I can imagine.
Motherfucker. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm gonna brag. I don't care if our listing is alphabetical. I'm gonna brag about that till the day I die. Gray, I'll send you copies of that. So next time I bring it up, you can just splash it on there and laugh.
What the article was about, even? Was it an article or was it a story you wrote?
It was all articles. It was all articles and stuff. So, and again, I mean, he was obviously towards the front of the book, and I was buried somewhere in the middle. But on the back of it, when it listed writer or listed creator credits, it was alphabetical. So I'm number 1 or 2 or whatever. But I'm above Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons.
Yeah, we got.
So, yeah.
Wow.
You don't remember at all what the article was about?
The only thing I remember is the one I wrote for the first one is I wrote about an American's perspective on collecting British comic books. And when I wrote the damn thing, I had 17 proper British comic books. Now I had pence variations and things like that, but I only had 17 proper British comic books. Now I have 2 tubs worth, 2 short boxes worth of, pens.
Wow.
Like that. But I had 17 proper British books, but I was showing an American bent on it and why collecting pence variants actually meant something. So Mark, when you talk about the pence variants being first prints and shorter printed, I was talking about that in 2017 going, these are first prints. I know these are first prints. I know this because I talked to the guys that put them together. I've had the discussions with those guys.
Well, it's interesting.
I'd get on Facebook forum discussions and I'd start asking these guys questions nobody else would, which is how I found out from Tom Warzakowski. That's how they grew new up and coming letterers, was to have them change the.
I'm going to run an experiment this year. So I've now got 2 of my main collections. I've got quite a lot of early Spider-Man, and when I get and quite a few of them, if I get a pence copy and I get a US copy, I keep them both. And the same on Submariner. I've probably got 20 to 30 comics now where I've got both
the American
US variant and the UK variant for the same comic.
Yeah.
Now I look at them, and probably 9 times out of 10, the UK variant is brighter. Now, but you could claim I'm biased, and I'd probably say biased.
They are bright. I've told you this, right? They were the first ones off the print.
So I was going to do a sort of blind thing with my wife and a couple of her friends.
How about the price corner?
And just they won't even notice it. I'm just going to say these 2 comics are the same. Which do you think looks the brighter?
Right.
And let's just get an independent opinion. And I guarantee, from my eye, the UK one looked brighter.
And again, they're less than 5% of the print run. They were the first off the copy when they started doing that. I mean, because they did it in the 60s, and I can't speak for exactly how they did it then. But when Sal Rosen was taking care of the production in the 70s, and it's just straight from the horse's mouth, that was the first 5% or less that was on the print, and then they changed the price number on it.
It makes sense. If you're the production guy, I used to be in production. If you were going to do that, you wanted to get the little stuff out of the way, and then you do your big print run where you got the efficiency. Yeah.
Let me get the names right. It was Rosen was the letterer, and I always juxtapose the two. I think it's Sal Rosen was the letterer who trained all these guys. Saul Brodsky was
Saul Brodsky, who you're talking about.
Saul Brodsky and John Veerporten, but Veerporten died in 77. But Saul Brodsky and John Veerporten were in charge of that. And they had them changed. They'd say, print this many because we have to ship them overseas. And they wanted them overseas at the release time. So the first 5% or less were printed with pence and shipped over.
Yeah.
So there is zero doubt those are first prints. Anybody that does not think those are first prints, it came out of Saul Brodsky's fucking mouth. They are first prints. The ones that are pence stamped.
Yeah.
The 6 pence. And again, I can't speak for like pre-76 because all the guys I talked to covered that time frame. And I'm guessing that's when they did previous, but I can speak to that matter of factly. That those 9 pence, 12 pence.
As well. Did DC as well do the same thing? Or just Marvel you're talking about?
No, DC had the UK price variance as well.
DC did a smaller run of DC price variance where they had some earlier, but they did 12p and 15p price variance, and they tried it for a while. But right after they started doing it, then they went to the dual printing. So there are fewer DC ones because Marvel
much fewer DC
way ahead
ones,
of the
right?
curve.
Much more of the DC ones came in and were just stamped by TMP.
Yeah, Marvel was way ahead of the curve. There are no early 70s that aren't TMP stamps, and it's like, and again, I don't know the exact dates on DC, but that's what I wrote about in Fanzine for my first issue. Because I'd spoken to the source. I literally knew it. I've had that conversation with the people that went, the SS letterers, our jobs were to find these words, and the editor would point out and change these words because they'd run the print of the original English, and then they'd give photocopies, in-house photostats to the letterers, and they'd be like, all right, well, you've got to cut and paste this and change the verbiage and put a U in color here, not just on the cover. But Tom will eventually tell the whole story on here. But that's why the all color banner is on all those British ones, because then they'd pull it off the press and switch it back to the Marvel banner. So, and I talked to the guys that did that. So, but I was interested in this like 7-8 years ago. I was writing about it because I've been talking to people about it since I got on the computer 25 years ago, or when I actually meet these people, because I'm a production guy. I want to talk about that kind of shit. I pick their brains. I did what I do. And that's how I ended up getting credit above Alan Moore again. Fuck it. It's my last name, but I don't care. It's still there. It's out there. It's a hard print. I'd still love to get a copy of Fanzine 1, not lost in the mail. The one book I've got is 2. There were like 9 issues published. They're as thick as a phone book, as thick as a small phone book. But I wrote in like 6 or 7 of them. I've got half-written stories buried on my phone. But my editor put a stop to that for now, but he's doing other things. But if you ever want to get me a Christmas present, find me a Fanzine 1 hard copy and get it to me.
What's the thing called? Just fanzine?
Fanzine. It's one word. FANSC.
Yeah, okay.
Fanzine, yeah, Fanzine.
Yeah, one word. What issue is the one where you're above Alan Moore?
Number 1.
Number 1.
I think I sent Graham the pictures, but number 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I get top billing whenever I'm in something with Bill Sienkiewicz.
there you go.
Because I'm Bill.
But again,
Field,
I mean, it's
but-
listed alphabetically.
Sorry,
now.
Bill.
On the interior, it just lists by page and who did what, but in the writer.
The funny
credits,
thing is, my initials are WTF and his are BS. So, I mean, you can't
What the
take us
fuck,
anywhere.
Your initials are WTF.
Yes. It figures, right? Now that you've known me a couple weeks.
I like that.
Makes sense.
I guess the middle name
And
now.
then
Is it Teddy?
Mark?
Teddy Field?
It's Traymond.
Traymond. I never would guess that.
Yeah, no one would. It's a long story. Next time we'll talk about the Traymond. That's a funny thing, actually. But I did want to bring on one of my prized possessions today.
Oh yeah.
And I know Kyle, I know I've already shown you this, I think. So don't say anything. I want to see if the guys recognize it.
This is like a biomorph creature, right?
Is it out of a film?
It is from a famous television series.
Really?
A what series?
A Cylon sort of thing. It's some kind of ray gun.
Is it a
some
Doctor Who thing?
American
series.
Oh, he's not one of the, was it not like a superhero series, and he kind of changed into, it was like a robot-y kind of looking guy. Is that something to do with that?
No.
I don't recognize it then.
If I say I will assimilate, what would you say?
Yeah, I'm surprised Mark didn't get that right.
Oh, it's a Dalek. Dalek.
No,
it's like cyborg.
It's the first Borg arm.
It's the Borg, right?
Oh, Borg, the Borg. Yeah, because again, it was similar.
Assimilate, not exterminate. Assimilate,
I can get it.
Exterminate. Okay.
Yeah. Mark, I sent you my Star Trek thing, Mark. I'm surprised you didn't get
that.
I am.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking along those lines at all. Yeah, definitely.
It's foam.
Yeah.
But it's heavy. But this is the first on-screen Borg arm.
Oh,
wow.
Well, the actual prop. The
actual prop.
That's cool.
I thought Mark would have got that right off the bat.
Well, my lighting is crummy in here, so I'm going to give him a break on that.
Kind of like ropey, kind of like thing. I was just trying to think of like
the Borg. I love the Borg. That's my favorite story. One of my favorite storylines.
Mine too.
Yeah. That's cool.
And it's one of those things which I'm sure you guys have experienced where no one else seemed to know what it was at auction.
All right.
Which was funny because I thought everybody knew the Borg.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, it's probably worth about $10,000. I got it for $450.
Wow. Nice.
About 12 years ago.
And you have to have, when you have something like that, presumably you've got to have some form of
provenance,
documentation showing provenance.
Well, actually what I have is I have a TV show called Hollywood Treasure, and they got it on there and they auctioned it actually on the show. So I have all that actually as a TV episode.
That's pretty good provenance. That'll do.
Not bad. So because the guys they're now owned by Heritage, the company, Profiles in History. Yeah. But they didn't even send me a certificate of authenticity with it. And then they go, well, it's on the television show. And I'm like, well, I guess that's good enough. You know, as long as I can have access to that episode.
Yeah. Have you got it sort of digitally recorded somewhere?
I have it marked on YouTube, but I should really download it onto my computer.
Yeah, because the reason I got into YouTubing is because 2 or 3 years ago, I decided I needed to do something about my insurance policy for my comics because they weren't really insured on my house insurance. So I got a new insurer to come in, and they were happy to insure my comic collection for whatever the amount I said. And I said to them, I said, well, what happens if I have a fire? How do I actually prove to you I had the comics that I said I got, and my watches as well, because I got some watches? And she said, well, the best way to do it is to do a video of yourself with the items, and then put it, store it somewhere that's not in your house.
Yep.
If anything gets destroyed, you can look at the videos and there's you with the item. So I did about 3 or 4 videos with me with my watches. And then I started doing sort of videos with me with my comics. And then I sort of saw YouTube people were showing comics on YouTube. I thought, oh, well, I'm making these videos anyway for insurance purposes. So I'll put some onto YouTube. And that's how I got started on YouTube.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sure you're not the only person that happened to, too.
Yeah.
Because it gave me the idea when I had to videotape a bunch of old books. And when I did, I realized, God, this would make a great show.
Yeah.
So, probably wind up doing that at some point.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing, Kyle?
Petting a dog.
Oh, okay.
Petting a dog that wants unbelievable amount of attention because I haven't given her attention while I'm upright. Joe, bless you.
Thank you.
I go to sleep like a good dog.
Well, I peanut buttered my nutsack while you guys weren't looking, so.
Oh, thanks for that imagery.
Wait, when you sat there, I saw you wiping your mouth, so I don't know what was going on, Carl. We don't need to know.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm sneezing and coughing every time I mute this. I'm sneezing and coughing. I'm supposed to not be talking while this is getting better, but I can't shut up. I do all night shows, and I sit outside, and I sit out in my garage in the cold, and I smoke. And
you never shut up, Carl. You're like a shark. You can't stop swimming. You're like
I can't stop swimming. Well, it's all this shit in my brain that needs to come out. I need to have these forums.
Me too.
Most of my life, I've sat at round tables like this where we've just bounced ideas. And I'm sitting with college professors. And
how did you get started doing videos on YouTube anyway? How did you start?
Me?
Yeah.
My wife told me I needed something to do on the side and bought me a camera stand. She bought me a video recorder, but it's a cheapy one, and then I had to do stuff through the computer and all that, and I didn't have access to a computer, so I just threw a phone on there and started doing that, and then people started seeing my shit, and they're like, holy shit, you got a museum, dude. And I'm like, yeah, I do. So, but yeah, that's why I did that. And calling back to the space stuff and being in grade school, I was in 8th grade, 12 years old or whatever, when the first space shuttle went up. And a couple of years previous, I'd done a tour down in Cape Canaveral with my family, and we got to walk around, and I actually got to walk on the Enterprise in the Columbia. I actually got to walk on the first space shuttle while it was under construction. And then a couple of years later, they pulled us aside in school and rolled the TV out in history class and went, here, this is what we're doing today. We're watching the first space shuttle go up. And I got to go, hey, I got to walk on that. And all the kids went, you're full of shit. You're full of shit. You're full of shit. And I went to my dad's that weekend and I said, hey, can I take these pictures back for show and tell? And that following Monday, I came back on show and tell and I went, suck it, you assholes. Here's me walking on that in 1977. I've always been this guy. Come on, dog, stop.
Anyway, Kyle, can you get the dog? We want to see the dog.
Come here, baby.
Let's see the dog. Let's see the dog.
Come here, baby.
Let's see the dog.
Okay. Right. So, Phil.
I
showed this earlier. Okay. And it's a sketch cover. And
hold on a second, hold on.
And we've decided that the gargoyle on here is the offspring of that dog and Kyle.
Oh, I believe that. And that's, of course, me dressed as Batman.
Oh.
And
Yeah, there
Yeah,
we go.
I only
So,
watch her a couple times a year, but you bastards. I'm going to change the word up, you asshole. All right, you asshole.
That's
yeah.
that is Mark from calling you a bastard 6 times a week.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I have to keep the count up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I needed this today. I needed something to laugh about.
but yeah, that's why I keep it lighthearted and free flowing. But yeah, I still got those pictures now since my dad died. I still got those pictures.
Talking about Kennedy earlier, when I was reading a comic this week, and I was Superman comic, and it was talking about just after he'd been killed, and he was saying apparently, I can't remember, it was supposed to be a comic that was cancelled because it was supposed to be Superman meeting up with JFK to do some kind of physical health program for school.
Oh yes, yeah.
And it came out right after he died.
Yeah, was it actually come out or was it cancelled in the end?
No, it came out. It came out.
It did get issued.
Yeah.
It came out. It's like February of '64, but it came out December of '63. It came out less than 2 weeks after Kennedy died.
It's also in one of the Treasury editions that I've got. Yeah.
Right.
Well, and while Nixon was still president, Marvel made him the hate monger.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Literally.
So, gasp! Not you. And it's like I am not a crook. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to give a kid a history lesson on one of the channels I follow. He's like, "Oh, they're doing too much of this woke political stuff now." And I started on a little spiel, and I was like, if I didn't have to go off to go live on this, I'd keep going. But I'm like, look back on this, do your research. It's been happening. And they're like, oh, they're only skewering this side. And I was like, do you not know anything about comic book history? It goes back centuries, literally into the 1800s, where they would skewer both sides.
As well of it.
Yeah, if you screwed up, you got skewered. And they're like, well, Obama got this nice picture. And, Trump got this. And I'm like, well, if Obama tried a coup, they would have roasted him.
Yeah.
If Obama did something bad, they would have roasted him. And they're like, oh, but they didn't do that to them. And I'm like, look what they did to Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter was a consummate Democrat. They ground him in the dirt for that OPEC stuff. He got hit. But, they're like, oh, these comics are too woke. And it's like, no, those are liberal type of people. And you kids today don't know your fucking history if you think it's too.
One of the things I like about comics has always been on the liberal sort of radical side.
They're Jewish kids that grew up in oppression, didn't they?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Well, and here's the thing. Everyone recently, because of the new Star Trek series, they're saying, when did Star Trek become woke? And what's this and that? Star Trek was
episode 1.
Episode 1. The whole woke thing was everyone was an equal. Everyone, women were captains, men were I mean, it broke all the molds. And it's like, if you don't think they were woke in '66, then you need to open your mind. You need to go read some Octavia Butler. Come on.
Insult to people, really. They like to make that as an insult to people, and then so people get to moan about it. People like to moan about it. But,
Doctor Who, extremely woke. All since the beginning. I mean, even the Doctor was a woke guy. I mean, give me a break, guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the first Doctor, but after
Right, but
I'll tell you what wasn't woke, actually. What wasn't woke was some old DC comics. I just read a DC Superman where Lois Lane and Lana Lang marry Samson and Hercules combined. And literally the whole story is they put them off because they're too demanding. They can't make their minds up and keep screaming. I think Lana crashes the car that she just gets bought by Hercules or something like that. And that's definitely not woke. Definitely that would not roll in nowadays.
No. Exactly. It's about the time you're in.
Yeah.
So, it's about challenging the norms of the time you're in.
Well, I think even Legion of Superheroes was quite woke for its era.
Legion. In a way, I mean, Superman, we could say he was not that progressive and wasn't really great for women's league. The women are always after the man kind of thing all the time. But I give Lois a pretty good job for that era. I think she was quite a high-powered reporter, even though some of her actions really followed.
Lois was extremely assertive and
annoying.
She was no shrinking violet. Was Lois?
Yeah.
You know, where's my cover with her whipping him?
That's a different thing entirely, mate. That's what
and all these people complaining like, oh, hey, 20 years before I was born, all this women's lib crap. Well, they had to have it because women were oppressed. Your mother and grandmother was oppressed. And when you have to tell somebody, hey, would you put up with me stepping on your grandma? Well, no. Well, then you agree, you dumbass.
It's like
oh
my
God.
Mum always said you've got to vote because you've got to go out and vote. People have died to get votes, you know what I mean? So you've got to
That's
go
right.
out and vote. People would die, die to get everyone to vote kind of thing. So
yeah, until you hit somebody on the head and put their grandma in that position. Say, let me say or do that to your grandma. Well, hell no. Well, then you understand. That's what they're trying to say. Don't step on this woman who was your grandma. But they don't conceive it because they didn't see it firsthand. And so many of these narrow-minded people that have never seen the world, once you've seen third world poverty, it changes your mind.
Yep.
When you see third world poverty firsthand, it changes your mind. Giving $1 a day or whatever to some charity doesn't mean shit unless you really sink yourself into it.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Lessen your carbon footprint by this much. Give to charity this much. Do these things incrementally this much. But you better appreciate that you've got this and they don't, and they have no fucking concept of what we have. The house I live in is an absolute travesty to like guys living in apartments in New York or London. So what's it look like to somebody living in a literal cardboard shack in the third world, if they even have that?
Well, the difference now is they do know what it looks like because they've all got mobile phones and they've all got access to the internet.
But it's still, you can see it on TV.
They do know what the difference is.
You can see it on TV. You can see it in movies. None of that counts. None of that sinks into people. You have to see it, smell it, taste it, touch it. If you physically, I don't mean get to look at it on TV. You can brush that off in 10 seconds. You get down in the dirt in the third world, and if you don't know any better, you're a bad fucking human being. Because I saw guys peddle their 12-year-old kids for sex for a cardboard fucking box, so they had a roof over their heads. I've never had to do any shit like that. You got to see the third world. That's how you change the world, not just some picture on your TV. We Are the World was beautiful. It put all that shit on the thing. Band-Aid's great, but they'll all tell you, you're looking at it on TV. You can turn off your TV. Go there and fucking smell it because you cannot get the smell of it. You cannot get the smell of the third world out of your nose. You can't. You can't. You can unsee hunger. You can't unsmell hunger. A bloated child's stomach, you cannot unsmell that.
Good night, Gray.
I think you've just
wake me up when you're allowed to get a word in.
Sorry. All right, Graham, come on. It's your show. Get your ass up.
Seriously, let's go off on a tangent, man. Let's get back to some comic books. Someone show a comic book, for God's sake.
Well, all right. Show Heroes for Hunger. Show Heroes for Hunger.
I don't even know what. I probably know what box it's in. Actually, it's probably in my Superman.
That's a Neil Adams cover right there. That's an amazing Neil Adams cover.
Yeah.
We got to do an episode on giveaway comics sometime. I was just thinking about that.
I've got a box and change of those. I got stuff going back to the 40s, 30s.
Oh, giveaways. So they were free when they were issued, you mean?
Yeah, yeah. Like in Hawaii growing up, there was a kids show called Checkers and Pogo. And every month you'd get a free Checkers and Pogo comic book.
Yeah.
And then also Big Boy, which is a big hamburger franchise over here.
Oh, yeah.
I just found out there were two different big boys. There was one on the West Coast and one on the East Coast, and they were no, I'm serious, and they were both drawn by Bill Everett.
Bill Everett, yeah,
the Namor fan.
Yeah,
the first issue was drawn by Bill Everett. But
no,
Mark,
the first mini issues.
Yeah, Mark, you have one of the first premium comic books ever, thanks to me.
Which one's that?
Come on now, 1933.
Golf.
The Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's yeah. So that was promotion.
Mickey Mouse magazine, which even predates Golf and Standard Oil.
Yeah. So I've got a little Mickey Mouse promotional thing from 1933. Given away with a bakery or a creamery.
Dairies.
Yeah.
Dairies.
Yeah. He didn't charge you for a free comic, did he? What a rip-off.
I know.
Yeah, the first dozen issues of Mickey Mouse magazine were premiums.
I know. So
I can never remember whose show I told it on, but I told the Gaines Donenfeld experiment with the Gulf Funnies Weekly and Standard Oil Funnies. I've got some of those upstairs. I show those off.
Yeah.
Date stamped September of 1934. And
I don't think we ever had any free comics here, did we, Mark? I can't think of
No, they didn't. I'm trying to think. Probably. I'm trying to think.
Would
have been the cereal companies like Kellogg's or Weetabix.
Well, I didn't want to go back upstairs, but I can pull those out. Well, we'll do it on the show. Yeah, I've got a Gulf Funnies Weekly that's got a date stamp on it.
Hey.
1934.
But they kept coming out till the 70s, guys.
Yeah, and that's that like Walt Disney magazines kept coming out free for a while like that. Yeah, the first technical appearance of Mickey Mouse.
Amazing, guys. The artwork was from the best of Walt's, people.
U-Buy Works. IWERKS. U-Buy Works, Floyd Gottfredson.
I Buy Works, You Buy Works. I mean,
yeah.
I had to say that.
Yep. And
Mark just said something funny and we couldn't hear it.
Mark's muted. He's talking to his wife.
It's my wife, actually. So
yeah, he's talking
sorry, Mrs. Mark.
She's like, "Why are you still on the YouTube?"
She's saying, "What are you talking about today?"
God, you are so jealous. You are so jealous.
Oh,
I have a lot of those right up nearby. I could probably go up and grab.
I saw him going like that. I think he was talking about you, Kyle. I'm not too sure. I don't know what that gesture meant, but I think it was.
Yeah. Talking about my wee willy winky covered in peanut butter.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Mrs. Mark, your husband made jokes about my dog. I'm sitting in chunky peanut butter. He's a bad man. So, but yeah, I've Roger. If we have a giveaway comic show, Roger's the king of that.
Yeah,
Roger's got all kinds of them. Roger was blown away by what I have, but I have a literal short box of nothing but giveaway comics.
Yeah, I think that'd be good to do that. That would be really interesting. I haven't got many, but I've got many. But Roger, we need Roger on if we're doing that.
Actually, now I remembered when they pulled me on, I was on with Roger and I gave the guys a quick history lesson because when I was talking with Old Wolf about going on the show, and I gave him a quick history lesson from 1841 up, and I actually showed examples of, here's this, and here's the first brownies, and here's where this morphed into that, and here's where this became political satire magazines, and here's the turn of the century where they were the full books. They're called comic books because they used to be kids' books. And then it turned into the format that we know, but I still haven't shipped my issue number 4 of Mickey Mouse up to Johnny yet. I need to get that soon.
It was bong out by the looks of it. You token on your bong there, mate?
Huh?
You token on your bong there?
I was about to, and then I realized I was on camera.
So, what got you into collecting comics, Bill? I don't think we've heard that story yet. When you first started collecting comics, how did that come about?
Well, I'm mainly an artist, but I mean I've written most of what I've drawn. But I started. I cartooned for my high school paper, back in the 70s. And I want to say the next year I did a series of 6 drawings in 1 year. And the next year I got the 3rd place Texas Press Association Cartoonist of the Year. So for a high school out of like 4,000 high schools. And that made me feel like, well, maybe I'm onto something. Went to college, became a cartoonist for the paper and for numerous flyers for my friends' bands. That's when I fell into the comic historian, comic art people with Dallas Fantasy Fair. That's when I got to meet all my heroes. So when I got to meet Bill Sienkiewicz the first time, I got to meet Frank Miller. It was a really magic time for me, and it made me want to do more. Then in the early 90s, I became the creative director of the Justice League Task Force arcade game. And by the time we had that almost ready to go to market, the company went belly up.
Oh.
And so after 2 years, almost 2 years of fine tuning, drawing basically all the characters for it, coming up with I came up with a Golden Age, Silver Age, New Age mode where you could play any version of the character you wanted. And we had to make up some because some of the characters didn't show up until later. Yeah. And that was interesting. That was fun. And then I became
when that didn't happen, who kept all the artwork?
I kept some of it. I believe Sunsoft probably kept some of it. I still have boxes of it. So one of these days,
yeah, give us a look.
But
your art, be cool.
I'll be happy to pull it out and show you what we were doing.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that.
We also after that, that's when also in between there, I was SeaWorld's television producer. Then I basically became animator for training videos, and after that, I did a bunch of different comics and the like for independent companies. I worked for a while on an Astro Boy comic that never came to be because now went belly up. They had some Astro Boy stuff, but this was going to take it to the next level, or so I thought. And I got jaded early on. I had a animated TV series with MTV. Things like that have happened, but in the last 10 years, I've gone to making my own short films, and now I'm co-producing a TV series and host on that. So that's kind of where I am.
Okay, you're not animation now, though. That chewing shroud thing, isn't it?
Yeah. The shroud. Who is the man in who is the man of the shroud is the actual name of the series. And we'll be having what I call Shroud Stock next month. It's going to be a 4-day event based on the shroud, and we just went and
buy their own shrouds, with the logo of the thing on it, that kind of thing. Shroud Stock logos.
Who let the cat in here? Are you the host on this TV show? Do we see you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I am. Shockingly enough.
What is it? What channel is it on? A proper US channel, like a cable or on YouTube?
Well, right now it's going to be on a Catholic channel soon, but right now you can go to discoverwho.org, and our 2 episodes that have dropped are on there right now, and you can watch those.
Okay.
And I'd love your input.
I think you'd be great as a presenter.
Well, thank you. And so I was the host of the Comic Book Historian podcast for 3 years with Alex Grand and Jim Thompson, and that's kind of got my foot in the door as far as being recognized as a comic historian and scholar, I guess. And then now I'm doing the panels for San Diego. So, and I wrote a book in the last year, the Neil book. So, something's going well. I'm not sure what, but something's going right.
Animation? You still doing any animation?
Yeah, some.
Ah, cool.
For animated commercials in Latin America.
Okay. When you've been on this show for a few months and your feet in the door fully and you're happy here, you can make us an animation intro for the beginning of the show.
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to blast us all as cartoons.
Kind of thing. That'd be cool. We'll get Mark to do the music. Although he's combining his body.
I think Mark would be the easiest to animate because he's the most jovial and fun of the bunch. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
I can't imagine who is the grumpy, ranty one. Who could that be?
We have to feature cartoons of the four of us running like this, and then we all fart, and it makes the logo come up like Geeky Weekly.
There we go. Yeah, make a cartoon of
it. and our Alan Moore lookalike. Great.
Yeah, exactly. We could actually just claim he's Alan Moore. You know?
Yeah. And Kyle the whole time will go,
we're going to have to do some voice coaching to get him out of cartoon. We're going to have to voice coach him out of London into Northampton. But you know.
I'm about to blow you guys' mind going back like 35 years. But,
dun,
minute, but let me find one more thing here, and
I'm warm myself out with all that.
Kyle, you've got quite a cool look tonight. You look like sort of the Man in Black.
Yeah, it was what was convenient. It was what was handy.
He looks like the milk tray man who's gone to pot.
he looks like the Undertaker, kind of. The wrestler.
I gotta find which one had the dirty bit in it that I got kicked out of school for to make fun of it here. So Bill said something that made me want to go upstairs and go ahead and check my files for this, but I've got to find this one because I thought I put it right on top. But while I'm looking for that, when we're talking about premiums, I did grab a couple of them out of there. There's one of the first ones ever produced.
Let me put it on full screen. Give me a sec. Yeah.
There's one of the first ones ever produced. I traded issue 2 to Mark, which was December of 1933.
Damn.
And those were giveaways, and I'm trading this to Montreal Johnny. And then when you're talking to Gaines Donnenfeld experiment, you got the Standard Oil funnies, Standard Oil comics that went out. They started doing 8-pagers that were smaller and giving them away. And then this is the Golf Funny Weekly, and look at that date stamp.
That's great. Love that.
Published once a week, free at all golf stations.
But Gaines and Donnenfeld, and by Gaines, I do mean the Bill Gaines that founded EC Comics.
Yeah.
When they were launching comic books, these guys got together and they thought, well, you know, if these books sell in this kid's format, let's make them smaller. And these things were kind of a hit. So let's take the Sunday Funny kind of things, which at the time were enormous. These are tiny in comparison. And then they're like, let's take these. Now that one's kind of stiffer, but let's take these, fold them in half, put the comics that way, and put a wraparound cover on it, and that's what became comic books. And that's the guys that created comics.
Yeah, I know, that's really interesting, Colin. I like that.
So, and I've got a history of that from the get-go. So, yeah. Let me dig out a couple things on this while I'm flipping through this. This is my high school newspaper.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Smoke Signals. Wow, I get a running theme here in your life.
And this is my calligraphy. I took over this paper so much that in my art, I ended up doing the calligraphy for the cover.
It looks like it says "Smoke Sign Ass," though.
I started out as a cub reporter in 10th grade. 11th grade, I was bumped up. By my senior year, I was the production editor of the paper. And I was supposed to be the full editor, but they wanted to have an editorial editor because I was such a troublemaker at school that they didn't want to give me sole credit, so they had this one kid write the editorials.
Yeah,
I put the whole thing together.
Make them right, Carl. You need someone to look after you and make sure you
Look at what I wrote in 1984. Look at what I wrote in 1984.
quite right.
Who was the British invasion in 1984?
All the up and comers, Duran Duran, and all them.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, and I wrote about that.
I didn't, Kyle. I didn't see Alan Moore's name below yours on that credit list.
Well, yeah.
You guys are the same school.
I'm trying to find some of these. I'm trying to get to some of these where there's some kind of infamous ones, because I got kicked out of school for a couple of things I pulled off in here.
I used to do a fanzine. I did about, I think, 7 or 8 issues of, I think it was 8 issues of a fanzine, but it was a heavy metal fanzine that I did. Like I used to do bands and give away a free CD, compilation CD, and that kind of thing.
Wow.
I used to print music lyrics in there. And again, this is small town Indiana. I had piercings in me in small town Indiana, where people wanted to fight me all the time. And, you know, I was cutting edge and popular with the girls. Like, I'd typeset this in printing class. They do word searches, and I'm going to find the infamous word search, because I had a buddy of mine that told me, I told him all the shit I did in the paper, because basically I put it together. Other than writing 3 or 4 stories, this is me. This was my side project.
It's not like you to come in and take over, is it, Carl? It's unusual.
No, it is not like me to come in and take over. And mind you, I was doing this in the mid 80s.
So great. Tell me about the fanzine that you did for heavy metal.
There you go. Get into the fanzine while I'm looking for this other stuff.
Well, actually, I'll have to dig them out sometime. It was called Kentucky Fried Afterbirth.
It's not really. It's not.
What
really.
have I gotten myself into here, fellas?
My fanzine, yeah.
I did not read the disclaimer properly when I signed on for this.
No, great. Tell me you're joking. It is not called Kentucky Fried Afterbirth.
It is called Kentucky Fried Afterbirth. Yeah, it is. Yeah, literally, we come walking home from the working man's club after having an evening playing pool, and it was the Kentucky Fried Chicken shop, and I was just like, you don't know what's in that crap. It could be Kentucky Fried Afterbirth for you know. And then I made a poem out of it. I made a poem called Kentucky Fried Afterbirth. And then I was doing a fanzine. I was in a band called Suffering, my band. And my guitarist said, let's do a fanzine. Oh, yeah, all right then. And like literally, he said it. I said, okay then. And I ended up having to do all the work myself. And then I went on for about 9 issues. So it wasn't too bad. Never made any money, of course, because nothing ever does. But, you know, it was fun.
I think the title might have been a problem.
No, that was pretty standard in heavy metal, to be honest.
Mark, now we know why Gray is on the no-fly list in Kentucky.
Here's where I was in the Breakthrough cast.
Yeah.
Oh God, did I leave this upstairs? I bet I left the one I'm looking for upstairs.
Have you got any copies, Gray, of Kentucky?
I'm gonna go out and get one. I'm gonna go get my. You guys
there you go. Get them. All right, I need to show this to Simon. Oops, am I showing the wrong side? There it is. Our Australian foreign exchange student defending Vegemite in 1985.
Quite right, too.
I don't know if I go that far.
Well, it's
I'm a meat and potatoes Texan. What can I say?
You know, anything Marmite related, I'm going to be a supporter of.
I do love marmalade. I will say that.
Marmalade's not the same thing, though, Bill.
No, I know it's not. I just thought it sounded alike, so I thought I'd throw in something I actually like.
I mean, it does begin with M-A-R.
Yeah, that's it. Let's not get into marshmallows now.
Oh, okay. Well, they begin with M-A-R either, and they're not like Marmite either.
You want to see these then? Or you want something?
Yes, let's have a look. I want to see some Kentucky
Fried
Kentucky Fried. Oh my God!
So these are so they also quite later on. They came with a compilation tape. That's a picture of me from a Halloween party we went to. Nice. That was me as a zombie. I can tell you some of the band names. Yeah, but the first one that we did.
I bet she was fun when you took her home.
No, that's me. That's me. in fancy dress?
Fancy dress.
A Halloween party. So the first one before we all had home computers. So this first one was literally done on a typewriter. Kentucky Fried Afterbirth #1. Compiled by Suffering. That's my band.
Compiled by who?
Suffering. That was the name of my band.
Oh, Suffering. Okay.
There's the poem. There's a list of the bands in the first one. Price negotiable. All proceeds donated to our local publican.
Let me see the cover again. I want to see the cover again.
The cover on this one's quite boring.
I want to see the Kentucky Fried Afterbirth. Oh, very good. Yeah, lots of very good use of fonts.
What year was that?
I don't know, actually. Let's see if it says in here. I don't think I had the sense to put it on the first page, to be honest, unfortunately. But I'll show you the others anyway. Like, so that's the rough ones. Let's quickly go to that one. That's the rough one. I'll find out how many I actually did. I actually did 8. I did 8 in the end.
Okay, what was the what was the publication size? Was it sort of less than 10,000?
The most I did was a bit of a mistake. I got 1,000 done, and that was kind of like I think I've still got 500 up in my wardrobe if anyone wants one. But by number 2, we got a word processor. Let's get a word processor. A little bit easier to do. I can't remember who did this cover for me, but this was Brain Dead was the name, as well as being a great zombie movie by the guy who went on to do Lord of the Rings. It was also the name of a club night that I put on in Walthamstow. We did about 2 years of like Monday night we'd do like 3 bands, and we do every bank holiday we put 10 bands on. So that was the Brain Dead Club. This is the Kentucky Fried Afterbirth. I can't remember who did that. Less bands in this one. I can't remember. I have no idea where that picture came in the back. I can't remember now, but that was interesting. And this third cover came from a band flyer. The police failed to grasp the back. Hanging is the thing there. Basically,
That's great.
Oh, the Brain Dead Club. Oh, that's my address. And then again, that's me again from that Halloween dress up picture that I did.
Oh my God.
And number 3. Bit boring, just the logos of the bands. Oh, see that?
Are we talking like 80s?
No, not as early as that. No, let's have a look. I've got. Actually, this one is from '98.
98.
98. This one, number 3, is from '98. So again, this is KFA. I took the old. That's the old Colonel, or the old Colonel. Maybe.
And the Anarchy A.
Yeah, well, no, it's for Afterbirth. A for Afterbirth. Well, this one,
it looks like the Anarchy A.
Maybe
without the circle.
Yeah, maybe. This one is quite. You were talking about annuals earlier on about UK annuals we used to have back in the 70s. As any 70s kid would, he was a fan of ABBA, and I happened to have an ABBA annual lying around. And for this issue, I made Kentucky Fried ABBA Birth. Like a Kentucky Fried ABBA we've added ABBA. The best of British and a few other bits thrown in for a laugh with interviews, reviews, stories, history, quantum mechanics, and other bollocks. On the back, we've got an ABBA quiz. If anyone wants to take part, I can read you some ABBA questions. How's your ABBA knowledge, guys?
Well, do you know what they were called back in Bedrock? Abba Dabba Doo.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
That's a given. Come on, fellas.
Right, ABBA came third in the 1973 Eurovision Song Contest. Can you name their song?
Waterloo. Waterloo.
Called Ring Ring.
I thought it was Waterloo.
That might be when they came first. The question was when they came third. I think the next time they went.
Oh, you're right. I didn't realize they had a.
Your ABBA knowledge is terrible. Your ABBA knowledge is terrible. And then this one is a take on the Kentucky Fried movie. If you remember the Kentucky Fried movie,
yeah, that's what I figured you were playing on. There was a Kentucky Fried movie. That's what words playing on there.
I took the cover from the video and I just basically turned it into the cover for Kentucky Fried Afterbirth. On the back, we've got Sooty with devil horns. Because I used to do flyers as well for my band and for the fanzine as well. One of them was like. I don't know if you know Sooty and Sweet. They're like puppets, they're kids' puppets. And the friar said, Sooty and Sweet have been possessed by Satan since reading Kentucky Fried Afterbirth. And that was one of the... yeah, anyway, got all the right up there. It's all daft stuff. This is my mate from one of the bands. He ended up marrying the drummer from my band. He's a guitarist from a band called Gore Rotted. And he ends up marrying the drummer from my band, Suffering, because we had a female drummer. So anyway, that was that. Because number 7, based on the 7.
Where'd Mark go?
He's had enough. That's me without a beard.
I want no more of this nonsense. And he stormed off.
Issue number 8. There's zombie Colonel.
Oh, I love that.
Colonel Sanders.
You kind of have a Ditko Peter Parker Spider-Man face going on with that Colonel.
That's me. Can I play with madness? A bit of Iron Maiden. And
no, that's Terry Gilliam if I ever saw it.
Yeah, that's it. That was it. That was my fanzines.
Nice. Yeah, we all got that in common. I wanted Mark to be back for this one because this is kind of funny.
Yeah, I wanted him to too. I wanted him to see something I have.
So
I don't know.
Here's a little gaggy joke here about the Brigadoon School play. And look who got billing right there. Oh no.
As Harry Beaton?
Harry Beaton. I was the guy killed. I did a sword dance. I drove people nuts at my school.
Who got the beat on you though?
I'm the son. I was a jock. I was a Marine, but I decided to go academic, and it annoyed all the jocks. But I became school editor and did songs and dances. But what I'm most infamous for, and my mom will laugh at this one when I got kicked out of school, was I put this together so much, and I was telling buddies, hey, I do the word search. And I put dirty shit in there just to get away with it because my teacher doesn't even look.
Until I didn't brought it to teacher's attention.
So I told the guy to look at the corners. What's in that corner? What letter's in that corner right there?
F.
What letter's in that corner right there?
Okay.
What letter's in that corner right there?
C.
So what do you figure is going to be in the other corner?
I'm betting you.
Maybe.
Now, I told this guy I was going to do you, and I screwed up because I put another message in here, and I put it one over too many and forgot about it. And he's sitting there circling these, sitting in the lunchroom, and he's like, well, he put FSCK, and he caught what I did. Now, can you read backwards? Starting from here, read backwards. Now, the X isn't part of the word.
What?
The X is spread the word.
Mindy?
Mindy?
Scott.
Oh, right.
Sucks.
Sucks. Oh, yeah.
I put that over one too many because I was supposed to scoot that over one more. I went on a double date with my buddy.
Oh, God.
And he was kind of nerdy. And the girl I was going with introduced us to her slutty friend who was going to go out with him. Well, her slutty friend took a shine to me.
Of course.
And I brushed her off, and she did him raw. So for him, I put Mindy Scott Sucks in the paper. And I messed up by covering up the C in the corner from what I told the other guy I was going to do with the F-U-C-K in the corner. So I got in trouble for the F-U-C-K in the corner that didn't exist because he spotted that, circled it, and started laughing. And the principal came up behind it and saw that, called my mom into the school. They pulled me off the reins of the paper after that.
See,
but they gave
an editor. They weren't wrong to give you an editor, mate, after all.
They kicked me out of school for 3 days. They couldn't take me off as editor. I still had to put the thing together, but I actually had to have editorial purview because the teacher got in trouble. But he pulled my mom into the office, and he's like, am I cutting out again?
No, there's some static somewhere.
But he pulled my mom into the office, and with a straight face, mind you, this was a younger guy because in mid-'80s, Vietnam wasn't 10 years done. But he was an old Vietnam vet, and he pulled my mom into the office, and he goes, Now, there are more connotations of the word sucks, and they can mean bad things. And like we could say White Castle hamburgers suck, and that's not so bad. But when you say it about a person, it's a bad thing. And he goes, that's why we have to kick Kyle out of school for 3 days. And we're walking out the door, and my mom busted a gut laughing. He went, did he just explain to me the connotations of the word sucks? He's like, you just got away with that. My mom took me out to dinner. She's like, well, you got a 3-day vacation. My senior year of high school, I would have had perfect attendance. But if you miss, you can miss up to 10 days. If you missed an 11th day, it caused problems. So I didn't want perfect attendance. I got kicked out of school for 10 days. That was 3 of them right there on purpose. And I mean, that was kind of indirectly on purpose. But they couldn't bust me down because I just fuck with the system. When I was a teenager, I was still fucking with the system and poking the bear. And I was doing that at 15, 16, 17 years old.
And here you are 40 years later, and you're still doing the same shit.
Still doing the same shit. And a buddy of mine that's on there, I mean, you know American radio. You know the Bob and Tom show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Bob and Tom show, they're... and still to this day, they're God damn it, I don't want to call him engineer, their producer. Their producer is Dean Metcalf, who does the Electric Amish and all them jokes like that. Well, this is that Dean Metcalf. I've known Dean Metcalf since we were in 2nd grade, since I was in 2nd grade and he was in 3rd grade. So I've been connected to that since I was a child. I think we lost Bill too.
No, I'm here.
No. But I don't know if you saw that, but like I've been doing stuff with Dean since I was a kid. And when I went and saw some people at my school about 10 years out, or like a little less than 10 years out. And I ran into Dean and he's like, what you been doing? And I said, well, I joined the Marines and I went to Gulf War.
Sorry about that.
And he said the one thing that stuck more than anything with people, he went, that is so un you. You know, I was the shit stirrer in small town Indiana, and I went on to become a rough and tumble Marine. And then by the time he saw me again, I was long haired and attitude again. But I had a buddy bet a couple $100 with friends. They were like, you know, boot camp's going to change him so much. And my best friend said, I'll bet you like more than $100 that it won't change him. And they actually put the money down. And I got back from boot camp and they thought I was going to be all crosswired, fucked up. And no, I got back. I was still same old crazy me. Was Zen Buddhist on my dog tags.
Wow.
But I've been this same shithead since I was a kid. But yeah, Graham, mention that, and one of the things my mom's in the thread on, she'll tell you how hard she laughed because I'd get kicked out of school on purpose just for shits and giggles. I'd stay off the honor roll on purpose. You know, I'd go to sleep in class just to piss off teachers because it's like I ain't supposed to be smarter than a teacher. But even by then, I mean, at one point, my bowling average with the handicap and my IQ were listed as the same. I had a 173 IQ and a 173 bowling handicap. So
until he got clobbered with a bowling ball.
I had a 163 bowling average.
That's a joke.
With a 10 handicap. And it was ironic that my high school IQ test was 173. So, and the government lists me at 175 to 185. So
did Gray freeze?
No.
Oh,
yeah. I've been certified.
I've never seen you that still for that length of time.
Trying to work out all these bowling averages and IQs. Like, I don't even know if that's a high score or not. I'm guessing it's reasonably high. I have no idea.
It was a decent score. Out of 300, you know, 200's really, really good. But IQ's like 173 IQ when I was 17. That's higher than Albert Einstein's. That's why I say IQ scores don't mean shit.
Yeah, I think I'm just like 167.
You know, but the government listed me between 175 and 185, so I always say 180. My GCT was 136 out of 150, so that puts me at 180.
Damn.
So,
and I was never considered that smart, thank God. So I didn't let anybody down.
I was considered a smart ass. I drove people crazy because I could have done anything I ever wanted to do. Anything, literally. I could have done anything I ever wanted to do. I've walked away from millions of dollars. I've told the system, up yours. You know, I hate money. I hate large sums of money. I am a nonconformist, anarchist punk wrapped in a hippie's body that doesn't want to lead anybody. I make people in my family crazy. So,
well, we're just your friends and you drive us crazy. So, right, Gray?
And I just laugh at it. It's like, I don't want to be rich. My mom wanted to be rich and famous. My grandma wanted to be rich and famous. Everybody in my family wanted to be rich and famous. Except my dad. My dad was a little oddball. But, you know, it's like... I'm
going to have to put an end to it now because I've got to go and have some dinner. It's nearly 11.
I think we done lost Mark. That poor guy. He missed all the silliness here, but...
I'll bring this back next week and show it off.
Oh, yeah, cool, yeah.
What is it? Just a tease? Just tease it?
It's 3 action figures that used to come out like in the 60s.
Big Jim. Yeah.
Yep, Big Jim is there. Here, I'll just show them real quick. But
oh, wow.
Pulsar, Big Jim.
Big Jim. Not Big Jim Slade from the Kentucky Fried Movie.
And Major Matt Mason. And they put them all in a nice little case, and I got them at Comic-Con. I had to wait in line for like 3 days to get it. It was so stupid, but
yeah. Talking of action figures or dolls, whatever. You was talking about there's a charity shop near where my girlfriend lives, and they've got like probably other 7-inch, 8-inch figures of like Thunderbird characters.
Whoa!
Yeah, get them.
Well, I thought they must be worth a bit. I thought to myself, but there's no price on them. I think they just put them on display. But I was thinking,
they're probably the ones from the 90s, but they're still worth quite a bit. I have a Matchbox, I guess 8 or 9-inch Captain Scarlet that's real nice. I'm more I like the Mysterians more than I liked Thunderbirds.
All right.
I thought it was more mysterious. It looked more real, you know.
Wasn't the Mysterio just glowing lights? Wasn't that?
Yeah, but it spooked the crap out of me, especially the deep voice for Sergeant Black's. We know who you are. You know, I'm like, ah! You know, I wouldn't walk into alleys at night and shit.
So I saw a lot more of Thunderbirds than I did of Captain Scarlet. I only saw Captain Scarlet a few times. I think Joe 90 was one I saw a fair few times as well.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's been a wonderful week. Hope to see y'all again this time next week.
Yeah, well, hopefully earlier.
Okay. We'll see you guys.
Yeah, nearly 3 hours.
See you later.
That's right.
Hey, we still make good time.
That's right.